and you're gonna have to enjoy me having to get creative with stuff, but you know, it's definitely good for me. I'm still over here just going, I need to edit that one VOD of the 25th Ward so we can actually put that together next week, but you know, realistically, the best I can say in regards to that is I really need to make a proper shadow for my VOD channel, but at the same time, you know how it goes. You should be going there anyway. In fact, let me see here. At the very least, Google will find me nonetheless, so at the same time, you know how it goes. If you care, there is a pinned comment in regards to that you should follow, to maybe consider looking at episode 0 of this game. Maybe leave a comment. Maybe tell the algorithm that you like this kind of stuff. I'm mostly over here just like, I don't know. Half of the time I'm over here just going, my brain doesn't know how to actually put together scripted content because I feel like context will always be lost. But at the same time, you know how it goes. I like being able to use my voice more than I like editing down my voice, if that makes any sense. You know, that's kind of the thing I feel in regards to that. If not for the fact that my position has low-key kind of evaporated, I would have gotten to a point where I could maybe hire an editor at some point or another, but at the same time, we'll worry about that when, you know, this is less of a quote-unquote hobby in regards to stuff. So, you know, if anything, if you do appreciate what's going on here, or maybe drop an emote once in a while, but at the same time, we should probably consider starting the game nonetheless. Me, over here just going, there's corn in your area. Why? Because you're flying through corn area. And frankly, this joke is corny in the first place. Let's just go.
What the hell is this?
Because otherwise we wouldn't be going in the first place, but even still, you are bad. My buttons, they don't work. There we go. Where is it? Dinky, exactly. Yeah. We had it and then we lost it, but more importantly, we're going to get it back. Because why? Because frankly speaking, my name is Evangeline Morgan. I have a problem, but still. The problem is that apparently we have actual lesbian Edgeworth in this game, and you know what? That's pretty good. But yeah, like I said, this is of the devil. I found out that I really like this game, compared to the fact that Belle just gave it to me because you know what, you need more to do. But even still, we'll see how this goes, because right now, we are getting to start episode 1. And hopefully, wait, I'm under the impression we could actually do something with all our winnings before we start with that, so let's see here. There's a bonus scenario though, but let's see here. Huh. You know what, that's actually pretty interesting right there. Maybe we could start by interviewing London? How does that sound, chat? I need to actually work on my men voices anyway. You want to interview me? It's very flattering, but aren't there more lively folks around here for you to question? I had considered that. So I'm not your first choice. You are the first who hasn't walked away. Come to think of it, I think I should probably... Demo players were explicitly instructed to complete the Episode 0 bonus scenarios before starting Episode 1. Well then, I guess we're in the right place. Thank you, Cybernetic Susurrus. I apologize if I don't know how to say that correctly, but even still, how are you? You know what? Chat, I once again ask you, if you want to throw in a little bit of input for voice direction, you're welcome to do so. I don't know these people. I'm about to know these people. So, what are your 3 sizes? Have you been opening with that? Should I not? Do you have any pets? Right not. Would need 1 or 2 or 3 promotions to afford that kind of thing. Are pets that expensive? Only if you care about them. Maybe if I found a place closer to the park. Have you ever owned any automated dependents? Not at the chance. Would you own one if you could? Maybe 1 or 3 one of the little vacuum ones. Anything more complicated than that is... If you find the owner's manual intimidating, there are video-based tutorials I could show you. I'm not worried about the ease of use, don't worry. When I say complicated, I mean... It's like what I said about pets. Fine to leave a goldfish in a tiny bowl. Time it takes to swim half a lap, it'll have forgotten what the first half looks like. Not a very tall hierarchy of needs there. Easy to please. But a cat? I don't want to be at work thinking about how bored they are sitting at home. And today's ads are a lot smarter than dogs about most things. That's a very thoughtful perspective, Detective London. It's a moot point anyway. I'd need to get hit by a city bus to afford any of the new stuff Noble's selling. Oh, you're thinking of the sheltered generation. Sheltered as in sheltered upbringing? Or shelter in place. There was a lot of uncertainty during their childhood. So when they grew up, they wanted surety, safety, stability. Wanted to know that their heat would stay on in the winter. And their politics reflected that. But that was all before my time. My generation is a little more, well... Generation Zen. That's what they called us in their think pieces. Even-tempered, mentally strong, and more than a little cynical. You disagree? It wasn't a matter of mindfulness. We just grew up without false expectations. Our vision wasn't clouded with illusions about impossibilities like home ownership, retirement. We realized early on that we'd be working right up until we did. You know what? Fair enough. I feel you on that. Detective? Unrealistic expectations. Some people call that hope. To see your friends, your classmates, drowning every day in that kind of mire. And then have to listen to people 3 times your age go on about how enlightened today's youth are. Gen Zen. It's not a name I'm particularly fond of. The brother is low-key spittin'. How long have you been in law enforcement? Too long. And how long have you been with the homicide department? Not that long by comparison. Sorry, I don't mean to be overly vague. If you really want to know, I spent the bulk of my career over in arson. Was it different from homicide? Flashier, I'd say. Everyone jokes that homicides solve themselves in the city with this many cameras. Meanwhile, fraud and disinfo are so entrenched in the tech arms race they barely come up for air. But arson really hasn't changed much in the modern era. Fire's still very good at destroying evidence. You can't expect the drone net to sweep into burnt rubble and bring you back out the culprit's fingerprints and driver's license. It's a lot of legwork, a lot of interviewing. And since more than half of the culprits we caught were burners helping Megs commit insurance fraud, we spent a lot of time making friends and enemies in high-rise corporate boardrooms. Megs? Just slang for mega corporations, which is also just slang. At what size does the corporation become mega? It's not really about gross revenue or how many countries you operate in. If you are big enough to crush people, you're a meg. An apex predator among apex predators. Like the Otidus Megalodon or the Mycenae Epoch. Hey, that's... Wait, is that where that comes from? I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's too many Sharknado films. I'm over here thinking to myself, that's exactly where my brain was going with that. So why are you working the homicide department? Give me 1 sec. Surprisingly, my throat is actually way drier than I thought. What's that? Why'd you leave arson? The smoke. The smoke? Just got to a point where I couldn't stand the smell. You know what? That's entirely fair. I'm over here just like, my name is Wasim London. I hate smoker's cough, but still. Alright, let's see here. If that's the case, what do we see about Reyes then? Okay, you can start now that my desktop's censored. So, for the record, your full name is Farah Reyes. And how is that pronounced? Like how I just said it? Farah Reyes. Thank you. Your birthday is October 19th. And how do you take your coffee? She makes you fetch the coffee? Figures. Wait, let me guess. Counselor Morgan takes her coffee black? No, decaf, like a real psychopath. Decaf, yes. Sometimes with milk. Nice. That's even worse. And you, detective? With 2 sugars and a bottle of water, now that I've got this. You mean your eye? Can you not drink caffeine with a cybernetic implant? When did you have it modded? After I learned I was getting promoted to detective, and before I realized I was getting promoted to homicide. Do you regret it? No. Wouldn't have wanted it for work give me a second here. Would have wanted it for work eventually, if it takes me a while longer to pay off than I expected. Well, I'm hardly the only person my age walking around with debts socketed onto them. I see. What are your likes? My likes? Pretty broad ask, don't you think? In that case, perhaps you'd find it easier to describe your dislikes. Small plates. Oh. I hate that dinner by 1,000 cuts shit. I see. And I dislike cheap people, and liars, and lawyers. Lawyers? They're smug, prideful, they bill you by the minute, greed personified, like their time is so goddamn important. And they're annoying, and pale. She's just describing Morgan at this point, isn't she? And smug. Should I put down smug twice? So what do you like, detective? Do you have any hobbies? Areas of interest? Well... Automotive history, maybe. Girl gets humiliated once and can't get Morgan out of her mind. I am imagining there is a meme out there of just Morgan and Reyes where Morgan's just like, you want to kiss me so bad it makes you look stupid. But you know, that's pretty much every scenario in regards to this. But you know, let's see. Oh, could you say more about that? I guess I could talk about it a little bit. The following section has been altered from its original format. It has been edited for... time. I can't believe it. Farah Reyes, a car girl, but you know, I could get that. Accord, which was supposed to be a luxury version of a pickup truck, as if there's a market for that. It's so stupid. I love it. And it's a purplish, bluish, chromish color. The copyright was so intense that just mixing the paint was illegal for naturally aspirated. Can you imagine? I see. Do you own a car yourself? You're joking, right? I'd rather eat asphalt than buy an EV with my hard-earned money. The following section has also been altered. It has been edited for... time, strong language, 4 rotors in a computer chip. That's not engineering, that's barely even programming. And as if acceleration was all that mattered, any race longer than 2 seconds and simulated engine noise and who in their right mind I believe that fills out your dislike section, so... what is your favorite drink? Dark and Stormy's pretty good. How do you make that? Ginger beer, rum, and a lot of lime juice. Putting together a recipe book or something. Who is your hero? Well, that one's easy. Detective was in London, of course. Oh. Should I relay your sentiments to him? I'm sure he'd love to hear them. Somehow, I doubt you'd get the tone right. Very well. In that case, what are your 3 sizes? My what? The measurements of your bust, waist, and... I'm not telling you that. Where the hell are you getting these questions from? I designed my interview process to extract all the same kinds of facts that are most commonly listed online. On what websites? Open source, collaborative, community-focused databases. So a wiki, is that what you're saying? You mean like a wiki? Okay, fair enough. This game is self-aware as shit. But still. Would you prefer to skip the question? Tell you what. If you can find a single person who does answer that question, I'll give you mine down to the millimeter. The rumor come out, Reyes can be a good sport when she wants to be, but you know, not with Morgan. More importantly, hey, it's my boy Carlos. Carlos still deserves better. So this is like an offboarding thing? An exit interview? Yes, it's like that. Oh. Well, that's sweet of Morgan, still worrying about me. Brother, if only you knew. How'd she know I'd be here? She didn't. Why are you here? Oh, hoping to get back some of my stuff that the police collected as evidence. Don't tell Morgan that, by the way. Is there something embarrassing among what they seized? Oh, it's just... I'm guessing as my lawyer. Is she still my lawyer? Well, as a lawyer, she'd probably know the exact right form to get this stuff back, but... it's okay. I wanted to do this myself. Why is that? Conquering my fears, maybe? Last time I came here, I was dragged in, strong-armed. Everything was going so fast, I barely spoke. I didn't stand up for myself. I had been able to stop and think things through clearly. Well, I could have never done what Morgan did, but maybe I wouldn't have gotten myself dug so deep. It must have been very upsetting, being accused of something so terrible. I'm sure you reacted just as well as anyone could be expected to. Thanks. I think. My brain can't help but go, Carlos really should consider getting a proper lawyer next time, but you know, I don't think he can afford it, you know. At least talk to somebody, but you know. My arm? No, it's not back yet. At this point, I'm better off getting an upgrade rather than waiting for my current model to get fixed. Is that allowed? Yeah, it is. Can't downgrade, can't trade in, can't opt out. But Hindi will let me upgrade anytime. Do you ever regret it? Getting modded? Sometimes. But I have a lot of regrets. Compared to some of them, buyer's remorse is... How do you deal with your buyer's remorse? Lately, I've been lying face down on the floor and exhaling. Just for 30 seconds. I count to 30. And you feel better afterwards? Yeah? Well, at least he learns to take things in stride, you know? I mean, I've seen the protests, but I've never... There's a lot of pains being a modder. Makes sense that people would have loud opinions, want them heard. But we all made a choice. All signed the papers. I guess that's it, huh? Not all of us were made. Not all of us made the choice ourselves. I got modded to help my career. Didn't need to get modded just in order to have one. But a lot of people did, and do. There was this guy who worked with us for 1 quarter. Probably a vet, but definitely didn't want to talk about it, so none of us asked. Good co-worker, very gung-ho, cheery, in a musclehead kind of way. It's a physical job, so there's no slouches, but he wasn't just fit, he was cut and handsome. And so when he kept showing up to work with more and more mods, all of them cosmetic, I didn't get it. What's he missing? What's a guy like that want to change about himself? Got offered full time at the end of the contract, but he said he needed something that paid better. Turns out he'd blown every paycheck at elective surgeons. A pal of mine in HR said he'd given his insurance info to 6 different clinics in the span of 4 weeks. Word is, he wasn't even using the pain pills. Sold them to some of the drivers for extra cash. That's the worst I've seen of it. Grafting runaway or plastophilia or whatever they're calling it now. But it's not the only time I've seen it. It's not like there's no incentive for it. Because there's plenty of Megs out there that see people hurting like that and think, there's an ideal worker. Shrek is now approaching your current location. Well then good, I want him to teach me about layers. I've been actually working very hard at learning to cook. I think we could all learn about why onions have layers. But you know, he's an ogre. He relates to onions more than he is one. How are you, Baka? So, you work for Morgan? And you're... Oh, wow. Lawyers must make more money than I realized. Wait, are you here to give me the bill? How much do I owe? You don't owe her anything. Her services were paid for by the state. And I happen to be forbidden from handing any kind of financials, due to an ongoing dispute about what constitutes essential office supplies. I hear you. Diane was always the money-smart one. Pretty strict, actually. Unless she saw a fidget tubby on the shelf. My girl still really needs her Labrubers. Let's see. You could see her eyes light up. Could hear her huffing like she just won the lottery. They're ugly cute, babe. And I would say, well, you're cute, babe. Believe it or not, she thought I was pretty suave. I'm excited about Deadpool button rivals. Yeah, you and everybody, I'm sure, but still. I'm over here thinking to myself, yeah, it would be Deadpool to just go, hey, look at that. Everybody's complaining about the lack of man-ass in this game. Well, there you go, but still. Alright, let's see here. What about Morgan herself? I really need to figure out how I'm gonna voice her, but still. You're going to interview me here? You did say I need to practice asking better questions. But right now, because you said the police would be making us wait so they feel more important for the next 20 minutes, is there some more productive way we could spend that time? I was planning on napping for 20 minutes in the lobby of a police precinct. I can fall asleep anywhere. It's one of my many hidden talents. You're gonna write all this down. Could you start with your name for the record? Morgan. And your first name? You should know by now that no one calls me by my first name. That's something you have control over. I wouldn't want to force the issue. How long has that been the case? As long as I care to remember. Then what did your parents call you? The tumor. Oh. You know what, fair enough. That was a joke. Oh. Maybe we should have started you off with someone a little more your speed. Who better to start than with you? Someone who likes talking about themselves. You seem to talk about yourself as much as anyone does. Or more. I tell people things about myself. It's different. Because you're lying? Now you're getting it. It's not very polite to lie. On the contrary, telling the truth is usually rude. I'm not sure that your clients would appreciate that sentiment. We're not talking about my clients. We're talking about manners. We're supposed to be talking about you. Look, the sooner you learn this, the better. When people ask you how you are or what you've been up to, they're not looking for anything nearly so heavy as the truth. They're just following the template, and the polite thing to do is for you to follow the template as well. Here, let's practice. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Thank you. Way too late. The whole point is to be on autopilot. Now you force them to grab the wheel, check their mirrors, and no one's ever grateful for the extra workload. You can be very cynical about these things at times. I'm just trying to teach. I'm just trying to tell you that people are fundamentally lazy. So if you want to be a social butterfly like me, try not to make them work too hard. Fundamentally lazy? Do you think people are fundamentally good too? Obviously. If they weren't, they wouldn't be so easy to trick. So are you planning on answering any of my questions about yourself? I've still got time to kill. Fire away. Will you be honest? I wouldn't want to be rude. When is your birthday? Wait, you're not trying to guess my passwords, are you? I would never commit identity fraud. Not the worst way of going about it, actually. December 26th. The 26th. That's almost Christmas. Almost Christmas means that it wasn't Christmas. But almost Christmas means it's not Christmas. Why am I able to guess where these jokes are going? Your insights are always so original. Did you receive presents on your birthday or on Christmas? What do you mean? Did you not celebrate Christmas in your family? We did. So did your parents give you presents on the 25th or the 26th? Well, I got Christmas presents on Christmas, and I got birthday presents on my birthday. Obviously. Are all your questions going to be this strange? What is your favorite color? Are all of your questions going to be this juvenile? If you prefer something weightier, do you volunteer? No. Do you donate? Yes. What causes you to donate? What causes do you donate towards? Endangered wildlife. What's with the face? It's on auto-renewal. I just haven't canceled it yet. You mentioned a mentor figure before. No way I ever called her a mentor. A busybody, maybe. World record holder for billable hours spent under the influence, perhaps. Or just, you know, the cougar from hell. If she had rubbed off on me in any way, I'd have hives. I see. Is she a smoker? Lastly, do you know your 3 sizes? I do. Would you tell me? That's private. You value your privacy very highly, don't you? More like everyone else doesn't value it enough. Water's rising. The world's getting smaller, literally, less real estate to go around. And everything's connected to something else. These days, just wanting some time or space to yourself is considered selfish, or worse. Only the guilty have something to hide. I don't like that phrase. Laws like the MOB Act have made it so anonymity and privacy are luxuries. Privileges reserved for the privileged. And if anyone below that tax bracket tries to claw away a little bit of it for themselves, well, it can only because they're guilty, right? Is that why you became a criminal defense attorney? To defend people's innocence? That's private. We don't get to know why Morgan is a lawyer. That's crazy. Either way, it's good preamble for what's coming next, I'm sure, but even still. Well, I'm over here thinking to myself, who's your favorite character so far? I think Carlos, but you know. Honestly, I'm just over here. Carlos deserves better is essentially the way I have to look at things, because I'm just over here just like, yeah, relatable. Your girlfriend is dead. Lol. Lamau, I'm sorry, but still. Let's see here. Where else are we going right now? I was under the impression I could buy a cell phone. Let's see here. Give me a sec. I need to explore a little bit. Let me see. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I would actually hate that. Having an apartment that runs next to the train tracks just feels like, hey, you will never get sleep again, but you know. I am just glad that it's never had to happen, you know? Let me see here. Definitely already get that enough from cars and all of that, but let's see. Might as well just start episode 1 on the jump, you know? It is why we're here. It is why the speech-to-text is not currently detecting my voice, so I'm sorry about that, chat. Let's see, high roller mode, huh? In high roller mode, you are limited to 1 save slot, and you won't be able to reload your saves while inside the courtroom. Quick saving and autosaves will be disabled as well, so remember to save regularly. The minimum ante for hands will be increased. The minimum and maximum penalties for answering incorrectly during trial gameplay will be increased. But the maximum ante will be increased as well, allowing you to earn the largest possible high score for credit in this episode. Completing this episode in high roller mode will also unlock an exclusive phone charm that can't be earned any other way. You can turn high roller mode off at any time in settings, but in order to turn it back on, you would have to restart this episode. This episode contains time-sensitive choices. You can double their duration or disable them entirely in the settings menu. This episode contains testimony segments. Objectionable words or clauses will become red when you prepare to call on them. This additional hinting can also be disabled in the settings menu. You can adjust either of these features at any point without affecting your high roller status. High roller mode is intended to encourage risk-taking and discourage save scumming. Consider it enabling it if you want to pursue this mystery like a true gambler. You know what? Fair enough. I think I'm willing to try it. Welcome to the high roller tables. Enjoy the thrill. I think we're going to keep tutorials on, because otherwise I think I would be completely sunk. Also, you know, in case you ever want to pick this up, it might be valuable for later, but still. Listen, I wanted to thank you for coming over. Wanted to thank you for coming over. Figures you'd notice. Anyone could tell something's bothering you. You're the first person to say anything. What happened? The police came to see me. In public? No, they wanted to be considerate of my privacy. That's a first. They wanted to talk to me about the other week. About my whereabouts. And yours. I told them I didn't know anything. They must have loved that. Funny. What would you have done? In your shoes, probably curse them out. Yeah, I could see that. Is there anything you wanted to ask me? No. Hey kid, I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Hello, Slap. I hope your job hunt is less strenuous than mine. But you know, even still, I hope you're doing okay. Not even for a favor in return. No favors lost between friends, I say. That sounds like a toast. Why not? To friends. I'll raise a glass to that. Cheers, bro. I'll drink to that. Oh. Now where are we? Blast him! Wait, vandalism detected. Incident logged. Recorded at 8:55 a.m. local time. Geopositional data encoded. If I could have all citizens in the area... Off, copper. Visuals impaired. Facial recognition compromised. Pinging all nearby opt-ins for corroborating evidence. Hey, he's lighting up every phone on the block. We need to go now, or what? He'll use his outdoor voice. Or he'll have us pinned down to our dental records before you can say we're Oh. Morning, Officer Leo. You look different today. I don't think Leo's having a good day. How about you, Chad? You do something new with your uniform? Good morning to you, Morgan, citizen. To answer your question, no. I have not undergone any recent retrofitting. If you'd like more detailed records of my maintenance history, you can make a request for... I've got it. Must be a new coat of paint. You're referring to the act of vandalization that just took place. Only the most recent one. Super Cop over here has a new dent every time I see him. Scars honorably earned in the line of duty, getting the street for jaywalkers and loiterers. Don't worry, ma'am. A report has been filed and the police are working to resolve the situation. Civil disobedience at this time of day? What's the world coming to? They're just stragglers, ma'am. There was a period of unrest in the area last night. Unlicensed protesting and demonstrating without a permit. Well, I hope you threw the book at them. The disturbance was handled, but the individual instances of volatility may occur during the next 48 hours as we work to apprehend outside actors. Thanks for the forecast. So does the bleeding stop on its own? Androids don't have blood, ma'am. This is just a leakage of oxidizing fluid. My mistake. So you don't need a bandage, I take it? The leakage will dry shortly. With that conversation thoroughly exhausted, I let my mind wander as I wait for the signal to cross. I unfocus my eyes and dull my hearing, sinking beneath the hum of the city street, and fading through the lives bustling around me like so much sea foam. Across the way, a large man with worn hands and an ill-fitting belt turns onto a gorilla-like hulk of a machine and cuffs his hands in front of his mouth. Yo, 61! The machine holds its lifting with uncanny precision and turns to him. We're going on break. The robot tilts its head to the side. You can't work with the pilot without Schwinn up on the roof, so... I don't know, take a load off, will ya? Understood, came the over-enunciated reply. The man already walking away tosses a dismissive wave behind him. Yeah, understood. A moment after the man turns the corner, the robot attempts to mimic the hand wave with no one in particular. Happy Wednesday, my dudes. No. How are you, Akai? I hope you're doing alright. Goddamn coppers on every street corner. At a bus stop, or what used to be a bus stop, now a charging station, a passionate young man voices his democratic opinion loud enough for the whole street to hear. And they declare martial law when I wasn't looking? Wait, let me try that again. They declared martial law when I wasn't looking. The small woman beside him trying hard to appear even smaller shifts in her seat. Well, they're just doing their jobs, so... Bots don't have jobs except the ones they stole from us. Notice how they don't patrol nearly so heavy in Uptown, even on the worst days. His audience, captured by virtue of sharing the same charging poles as him, shuffles, coughs, and stares even harder at their phones. The woman looks at her knees and pulls at her shirt. You're kind of embarrassing me right now. He makes a vague gesture with his hand to indicate he stepped off his soapbox, and shoulders of everyone around him relaxing a centimeter. Yeah, well, I'm usually very good at sight-reading words. Let's try this again. Oh no, that's just a woman with exhaustion in her eyes sighs at a hologram floating above her chrome-plated palm. Wait, that was a new term. Let's see about that. Oh, okay, I immediately see the word clank and I'm just going, okay, I see how we work in this, but let's see here. You like words, chat? Give me a second here. A derogatory word for automated dependents, particularly ones licensed licensed by or operating under the authority of the state. Interested parties in the automated dependent industries have, on more than one occasion, lobbied for copper and other terms like it, clanker, grumdome, microchip breath, sick, to be classified as hate speech, arguing that anti-mechanical sentiment constitutes an expression of prejudice. Were it considered a form of hate speech, incidents of destruction or corporate property where such terms were used in prior communications would qualify for additional severity and higher fines paid toward the damaged party. Under all but the most radical interpretations of hate speech law, however, prejudice can only be directed towards sentient living things, people, animals, or corporations. That last stipulation hurts a little bit, but you know. If you feel that a corporation you know has been the victim of a hate crime, you can report it at our confidential portal here. While a rounded, smooth-looking android pushes a carriage behind her. Ellen, walk her around the block. Get some air, would you? Apparently, this call can't wait, and it's louder than a garbage disposal out here. You also have Morgan's new profile. Oh boy, I can't wait to figure out what's going on with that. Give me a sec. Let's see here. Criminal defense attorney likes trigonometry, rooftops, bonfires. Why is Morgan a math nerd, but exercises by swimming, hidden talent, baking, body count? You can't ask somebody that. They got rid of the Heartbreak Killer, but they can't get rid of the killer inside of the Heartbreaker. But let's see here. Of course, ma'am. I'd be glad to. The android punctuates its sentence with a sound halfway between a whir and a purr, which, judging by the coos and giggles coming from the child, seems to have been well received. Robots, holograms, androids, drones, coppers, if you prefer. Can't so much as sneeze in the city without a dozen different ads offering you a handkerchief. There's a vocal minority that think they're the downfall of civilization, but for everyone else, you're too kind, ma'am. Thank you for your concern. It's hard to hate them when they're so eager to please. Crosswalk's giving me the okay. Keep us safe, yeah? Have a good day, Have a good day, Morgan citizen. It's a bright, crisp morning in the city. Lights changing and people moving in click-clacking harmony, all smooth as clockwork. Were I in a worse mood, it would all be a bit much. But, okay, fair enough. Let's see, but I went out last night, so I'm feeling pretty refreshed this morning. I can see why. As I reach the other end of the street, I pivot lightly and give Automated Dependent Assistant Officer L30 my best impression of a salute. Thank you for your service. And of course, he clicks out a mirrored response. No sense of sarcasm, the poor bastards. But I didn't come all this way downtown to poke fun at the only happily employed class in human history. No, I came down here to make an important purchase. Today, I'm going to buy a gun. I'm gonna be real, I don't think she needs one of those. Either way, how are you holding up, chat? Are you liking my voice so far? Are you liking the story so far? Amazing, exactly. Also, we are coming up on a 2-minute ad break, so be prepared for that. No staff around, but all the lights are on. Should I have knocked? I have no clue what the story is, and don't worry about it. The idea is, have you ever seen the anime Kakegururi? This is that, but slightly more mature. Oh hey, look, it's a hologram. Stop. Desk personality setting 6, the cool one. Look. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I've probably forgotten more about firearms than you're programmed to remember. Episode 0 is free on Steam, correct, and I also have a link to my experience with Episode 0 right at the pinned comment. Leave a comment if you're so inclined. I would very much appreciate it. Help a brother out. Please, but still. Is it related to the universe that Lobotomy Corp is in? Nope, completely different story, completely different developers, but you know, let's see. I bet you can. I recently acquired a license to carry concealed. Nice. Are you in law enforcement? Do you shoot for sport? Business or pleasure? Neither. May I ask why you're looking to carry concealed, ma'am? Oh, you know. Assault with a deadly weapon, cruel intent. That kind of thing. Some of my clients live in very rough neighborhoods. Even in broad daylight, coming down to the lower wards for house visits can be... I see. You're a lawyer. So I guess you'd say I'm in the market for self-defense. We have a wide selection of options for self-defense in a variety of sizes and calibers, with spread and PA fire options available. Warning.
Do not sell her a gun. Do not sell Evangeline Morgan a gun. You do not want to do that. She will use it against the people. Do not do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't. Either way, as we are coming into this here ad break, I'm over here thinking to myself, this game has been surprisingly great for what I've experienced of it so far. I've only played the demo, but at the same time, it's nice. And frankly speaking, once again, this was donated to us as a result of that. Frankly speaking, if you're so inclined, you should probably also consider following Belle Umbre if you haven't done so already, considering this was a donation from her specifically. It's important that you understand, I tend to be the kind of person who will give anything a try once if it's given to me for free, you know what I mean? But even still. The majority of my time could best be understood as, hey, I've been thinking about this game all week. I've been trying to locate more art assets so I could put them together for stuff. But you know, if anything, whoever is the lead artist at Nth Circle, I appreciate them considerably, considering I really didn't think I liked this art style at first, but it started to grow on me, you know? Especially considering, you know, I do have friends who've actually been making it really good in regards to actually drawing the art. In fact, give me a second here, there is something that Melody drew that I think you people would appreciate if you're also fans of Limbus Company, but still. Character artist is Evil Little Bug. Do they have a blue sky? Let me see here. I'm sorry that I have to keep looking at stuff over the thing, but even still, give me a second here. You will understand that I'd like to support fellow artists if ever possible, but even still. They have a Tumblr at least, that I can work with. In fact, consider looking at this Tumblr, consider looking at the art that's on that Tumblr. I think it's appreciable, considering, you know, we're also streaming Kanto 9 of Limbus on Saturday, so you know, this is extremely poignant. This is actually where my special interests kind of intersect, you know what I mean? But even still, the majority of my time in regards to this is just like, hey, what do you know me for? I'm the person who could actually be the person I want to voice your Faust and your Yi song, but at the same time, you know, I could imagine Faust existing in this particular setting and just going, Faust would like you to understand that unfortunately racial prejudice is still very correct in this city, but at the same time, all we truly understand is that, frankly speaking, that woman right there cannot be trusted with a registered firearm. She will find a way to unregister it, but you know. Yeah, that's exactly right. How are you, cleric? Even still, give me a second here. You get a shout out. We just went through some character interviews. We just found out that Morgan wants to buy a gun of all things. As if she didn't already just get rid of one. You know. Thank you. I hope you're doing alright. What would you like to tell me about your experiences with Bravely Second? I'm over here thinking to myself, I want to get the remaster of Bravely Default 1. Why the fuck is it Switch 2 exclusive? Square, did we not already experience this with the fact that people have been celebrating Kingdom Hearts showing up on Steam as if it wasn't already on Epic? What's the wrong with you? But still, I don't know. I feel as though at this point, if you're making exclusives for things that have existed for the last 10 to 12 years, there's really no point unless you're actually trying to use the hardware for something. And I don't necessarily fault Bravely Default 1 for that, considering I know that there's stuff in there that happens that actually is extremely poignant to the idea of having multiple screens, but still. Every single chapter of Bravely Second starts with the opening cutscene again like an anime opening. Sounds to me like we need to play No More Heroes 3 again, but at the same time, you know, we'll worry about that after Romeo, but still. That being said, we now return to our main program, either way. Game, work with me here. PA stands for pseudo-automatic. I know. But for concealed, it'd have to at least be small enough to... This would go a lot faster if I just tell the desk what I want. What do you think, chat? Do we be good to the automated help and be patient? Or do we actually get out of here and be explicit? I'm of the mind of, frankly speaking, Morgan is very good at actually extending her patience beyond what is reasonable for a lot of people, considering the fact that, you know, she's a lawyer. She kind of has to, but at the same time, you know, what would actually be in character for her? You know what? I just like being able to yap. I'm gonna be patient. But walking in here and asking for a very specific model is gun nut behavior. I'm not trying to stand out. Some of the ones I test fired at the range left my shoulders sore for days. Do you have anything more discreet? Right. No problem. Electromagnetic pulse models feature a minimal kickback with the highest accuracy. One targeted pulse of electricity can disable attackers at medium to short range, non-lethally and quietly. Sure, they're plenty quiet, but they also have piss-poor range, and even sustained fire won't do shit to any modders with insulation less than a few years old. Glorified tasers, barely suitable as party favors for anxiety-stricken college kids. Well, hopefully not too quiet. I'd want someone to come running to my rescue. Of course. Would you like to take a look at our mag rails? Bullseye. We're proud to offer a number of models that utilize the latest in miniaturized ultra-capacity batteries to generate a Laurent's force, which slings a slug fast enough to mist a limb at over 30 meters. That's a new one. Let's see about that. A slang term meaning to shoot or to kill that originates from the bloody spray produced when a modern firearm's projectile makes contact with living tissue. E.g., a gun that size could mist a crowd from 100 meters, even if you weren't aiming. Crazy. And it's safe. Of course. My bad. Two-factor safeties with GPS and emergency services sync. It won't go off unless you want it to, and someone will definitely come running. All those convenient safety features make it incredibly easy for the police, or anyone who can dupe their toolset, to lock you out of your own gun with the flip of a switch. You couldn't walk a piece like that down a single uptown street without passing through 9 or 10 no-fire zones. They're the very worst, most useless kind of weapon to a criminal could buy. Sounds perfect. How do we get started? Again, I'm over here just like, this woman needs to cover her tracks. Why does it feel like every desk I run into has to be such a character? Mercifully, it's tucked itself away while the fabricators get the gun tagged. I've got time to kill, so is there anything worth checking out around the shop? Okay, here's the part where we actually look for clues. Let's see. Hate these kinds of screens. Gotta look at them with your nose turned up or else they start eye tracking. Next thing you know, they're saying hello on a first-name basis. But I've got practice with this sort of thing. I can skim the headlines at least. Why the 12-6 work week gives us more free time than ever. I'm 14 and I tried dating a smart UI. It made me the happiest I've ever been. How term limits are anti-democracy. Woof. Transfusion from warm androids saves soldier's life. That's one hell of a headline. If the Animate 16 wasn't selling well before, I'm sure by now it's... Let's see about that. The Animate 16 is the latest Android produced by Noble Electronics, and we think it's the greatest machine the world has ever seen, boasting a battery life of over 150 hours with patented soft-touch digitation, remarkable tenderness and sensitivity, and the uncanny charm you've come to expect from us. We're sure that your Animate 16 will be the best purchase you've made this year, and you'll never want to go back out in the cold. Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account. I hate that. Why is that so poignant? I don't get it. Let's see. Hey, look. Someone left a datapad out here. What's in the news today? The internationally wanted terrorist and serial data thief, most commonly known as Lobo, has seized a cache of vital keystone data files belonging to Tetra Metallics Group, according to a press release from the mining conglomerate. In a blitz of cross-posts in 90 different socials, translated into all 11 dominant languages, the supposed hacktivist, radical conservationist, and gentleman thief made clear the intent to ransom said files back to their lawful owners at severe cost. Though the posts were quickly flagged and quarantined thanks to user reports, Lobo's latest manifesto, which he has declined to publish here on grounds of journalistic integrity and due to the strong language contained within, has remained in circulation thanks to a loose network of rogue data harpers. In addition to sizable monetary ransom, Lobo put out a list of demands that spanned pages. Most prominent among them was a call for de-escalation of all conflicts surrounding rare earth metal deposits around the equator. Sources at Tetra refused to confirm or deny reports that Lobo's captured data impacted only their billing services, but insisted that the corporation could not in good faith resume distribution until the ransom situation was resolved. Market prices for rare earth metals surged following the hacking attack, as supply halted and demand rose, stoked by memories of catastrophic supply chain disruption in the mid-21st century. A spokesperson for Mining is Progress, a lobbying group that represents the rare earth metal industry, called Lobo's repeated acts of terror against the free market. Whoa there, looks like you're not logged in. Want to take care of that real quick. Also, Ichi Desu, hello Philo. I hope you're doing alright. It's been a bit. How are you? Either way, give me a second here. A touch floof now. What do you mean by that? Do you like my silly model? Give me a second here. Where are my codes? I hate it here. Well, I hate that I don't know my own redeems, but even still, let me see here. I hope you have fun. Gonna lurk to do some gaming of my own. You do that. Any lurk here is a friend of mine, but even still. Let's see. Lobo, again? Or someone using their name? Suppose it doesn't matter if they are the original or not, so long as they're a genuine threat. And no one could snare a corporation as rich as Tetra without serious skills. It does seem consistent with Lobo's politics, making demands for... Gonna keep it a buck with you. Ransom money is not political. De-escalating around the equator, probably very political. It's not the first time Lobos voiced their displeasure with the decades-old simmer of conflict around the tropics. Is this that bartending game? No, that's Valhalla, but it's got the same vibe, you know what I mean? Based Lobo, correct. My brother would do gangbusters at Avalanche, but still. But unless the rare earth metals powering all our batteries and fueling our pretty little androids are suddenly made a lot less rare overnight, I doubt the state will stop taking an interest in those regions in politics anytime. Let's see. Well, duh, that's why I thought it was either the second or third entry in the series or something. Unfortunately, according to Sukebon Games, we are quite literally never getting the prequel that was supposed to come out, but at the same time, you know, I want Nirvana. I still believe in them, but still. Let's see. Lobo demands ransom. Lobo needs food, badly. The big bad wolf is here. You are welcome for clearing out this cache of soy slop before it could clog your brain's arteries any further. To whatever dumb as dishwater script kitty they yelled at to come fix this, a word of advice from your superior. I own that password suggestion algorithm. Wanna resecure? Try this. Relax your shoulders. Stand up from your desk and take a deep breath and then firebomb your own servers. Literally cheaper for you at this point. For the rest of you slack-jawed screen lobotomites looking for a little excitement in their search history, find a pig and rip their throat out. That'll teach you how to run with the wolf. Lobo is king. Crazy. Honestly, I'm over here thinking to myself, yeah, I could imagine a super hacker low-key talking like that, but at the same time, you know, the movies lie to you in regards to how that works, but let's see. Yeesh. Would it kill you to clean up a little? I guess the desk kindly asking customers not to litter can only get you so far if you're not willing to pay someone to sweep up. Wait, is this trash? This flyer, it's scannable? Stagnancy theory. Really? They get a lot of self-proclaimed philosophers in here. Renowned net philosopher Corbin Cawthorne, real name withheld, offers to take you on a deep dive into global trends and sociological patterns that have driven our planet to the halting point in his groundbreaking and controversial seminar. Moore's Law used to be the benchmark. Now it feels like a pipe dream. We used to dream of humanity marching bravely into space, of artisans crafting virtual wonders that make the confines of our own reality seem limited. Instead, our brightest minds spent all their time and effort kicking the can of climate crisis down the road, while their more fortunate peers spend their most productive working years in search engine optimization and other customer experience design. The middle class, eaten alive by the rich they prop up, can no longer afford the very products they help create. Without mass consumer demand, tech no longer has evolutionary pressures to be as small and powerful as possible. In stagnant waters, only parasites and disease grow aplenty. The only cure comes from you taking action. The movies lie to you about how that works. So true, the movies don't have puppy-go hacker polycules leaking internal documents from the police. Yeah, I remember that being a real thing that happened a couple years ago. You're so right. There's another link at the bottom, probably leading to a collection dish. Or a state honeypot, if you want to be paranoid. They better burn this shit before some neat freak idiot picks it up and gets arrested. You can tell this guy's a fake political philosopher because he believes in a middle class. Something, eat the rich, something. I got a bottle of barbecue sauce in the fridge right now. But you know, let's see here. Anything else okay, there we go. There's some kind of news program playing on the screen. Most public places are too scared to put on any channel with content more political than the smiling micro apartment flippers. I hate HGTV, but this is a gun store after all. Power is always political. Wait, how long has it been? Shouldn't take them that long to get my gun properly bugged. I'm sorry, we've received a breaking news story. We're seeking confirmation and yes, we have it confirmed. Lead programmer at Noble Electronics and famed designer of the Turing solution, Dr. David Usher, has passed. What? Propriety Vantage Automated Department's management system along with the animate series of androids. Must be some kind of corporate propaganda tactic. Or... no, they wouldn't risk. Fake news? But why? Perhaps best known for his breakthroughs in the field of machine learning and language. Misinformation, maybe? Trying to... authored many of the developments that allowed for Noble's rapid growth and market dominance. David Usher is dead. Including the popular Dusk series of smart UIs. That's very sad. I didn't ask. Sorry, I just... Commands only. Understood. Will you be paying with cash or credit? Debit. This girl can't afford to buy a gun on credit. Unfortunate. The gun was light. Lighter than I expected. A real gun should always be heavy, greater than the sum of its parts. That's one of the things I like about them. Their weight. Like they're anchoring the world around them. Like they're a fixed point in time. Like everything else is just relative to them, either closer or further to the end. I would have liked something heavier during that walk back to my apartment. I would have liked to have something to feel far away from... Morgan's apartment. It's a nice-looking apartment, I'm not gonna lie to you. Didn't realize I was home until my hands were on the door. What's this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Fumbling in my pocket for... my lighter? Normal for a girl to disassociate all the way home. You worked for 15 hours, get ready for 6 more hours of sleep. And only sleep. You don't have time for that. Golden, polished, tastefully ergonomic and fine and expensive. And a good lighter. It was a good gift. I kept the card, didn't I? Here it is. To the only smoker in my life. I know gold's a bit much for your personal style, but they don't make a lot of these anymore. Believe it or not, the only other people who share your vice are stuffy old men with expensive taste. Hope you can manage to get some use out of it anyway. A friend. David. The news might have more information by now. Or not. Looks like the net's full of copy-pasted statements from Noble, auto-edited montages, ill-fitting quotes. Reactions to the news from every micro-celebrity under the sun. Their raw, authentic emotion brought to you live from all the car seats and bathroom mirrors of the world. But there's nothing about his death, not even a time window. Did he die this morning? Was he found dead in his bed? Has he been dead for days while Noble's just been waiting for the right time to let it leak? Or did he die last night while I was out screwing a phone call? Better not be work-related. Also, hello, Mordred. Terraria 1.4.5, January 27th. I can't stop winning this month. Are you excited for Code Vein 2 and Terraria? I'm not in the right mood. Oh, Morgan, hey, thanks for picking up so fast. She's Jessica Starling, who asked me to call her. Hi, Jess. Listen, I need you to... I've already seen the news. What? Oh. Uh-oh. Of course you have. Duh. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. With the company, the people, and the... What I mean is, if it were up to me, you would have been the first call I made. For a decision like that to be up to David's assistant, about 1,000 other noble employees above her on the ladder would have had to get axed, but it's all right, Jess. No one ever really knows what to do with these kinds of things. Still, I'm sorry you had to hear it from a stream, Cryon. What difference does it make how the information gets to me? I could have stumbled upon his corpse myself and I would feel mostly the same. Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to call anyway. Yeah. If I want more information, she's the best source I'm going to get. Maybe for weeks. What to ask at a time like this? Yes, also the Neo 3 demo was on the same day as Code Vein 2. I don't know if I'll play that given the whole pre-order thing. Yeah, I feel that. Wait, which one? Code Vein 2 tells me I can play it 3 days early, but I don't know if I can stream it. And then Neo 3 is also a thing that exists, and I'm over here just like, yeah, you don't understand. Everything I care about is happening right now. You have to you have to pre-order Neo 3 to play the demo? Koei. Koei. But still, I pre-ordered both. I'm happy for you on that front. What's the pre-order bonus for Neo for Code Vein 2? I hope it's more God Eater stuff. I'm supposed to express denial first, but she's probably short on time. And I don't feel like following the playbook to the letter right now. Can you tell me what happened? The police, they think that he took something. Suicide? And the police are already involved? Okay, you know what? That disconnect was actually pretty minor. We don't have to worry about anything. We just go, what the hell is this, Clancy? But even still. Also, Father, I am here. Hello, son. You're just in time to witness us going over a man's death, but even still. How are you? I'd like to bring you up here. David's place? What do you mean? There's something I have to give you. You're not handing me his will already, are you? If the police are involved, it'll be a while before. No, I'm sorry, it's not like that. No, please don't hold back on my account. David asked me to get this into your hands. It wasn't work-related. But he asked me. I know I'm asking a lot here, but since it turned out to be the last thing he ever asked me to do, I'd like to get it done. I don't like showing up at crime scenes more often or more quickly than strictly necessary. And that's when I only have to worry about the police. Can your bird feed me what I missed from last stream? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It would be wiser to watch the episode 0 VOD, but at the same time, this is Morgan. She is basically the cracked out super lawyer of this scenario, who's also low-key I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If you know any other person in law enforcement by the name of Morgan, you should probably consider what that's about. And Code Vein 2 gives you an additional facepaint thingy, a new dual sword, and other additions give you a new greatsword, a trio of outfits, and access to the announced expansion. And the ultimate version gets you all that and outfits from Code Vein 1. I get you. I'm over here thinking to myself, if it's not more remuxed dungeons, I think they'll actually learn from this, but I also need to see how the game plays, you know? I need this to be more God Eater than it does to be Souls, you know what I mean? Let's see. With Noble looming all over this, security will be doubled. scrutiny tripled. This is too risky. There's no logical reason to agree with her request. Swing by my place with a cab, yeah? Besides my own morbid curiosity. Right, of course. Thanks, Morgan. Thank you. Wait, I almost forgot. What is it? You don't happen to have anything you could wear in black, do you? We're going to a funeral, aren't we? Wait, isn't Code Vein either related to God Eater or it's God Eater-esque? That or it's Soul's God Eater. That's the thing about it. The only way Code Vein 2 could possibly exist is by stripping the actual connection to God Eater. It's a completely different universe. The autocab hums with a synthesized purr as our on-ramp merges onto a canopy superhighway, steadily and suddenly all at once. Not much super about it, but it does cast one hell of a shadow. The canopies always felt very arts and crafts to me. Cobbled together, always added onto, never finished, never planned. It's clearly taken a lot of time and effort to make. But the end result's still ugly. And it feels like it could fall apart at any moment. You okay, Morgan? You look a little car sick. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. But if I ignore her text now, she'll just send me more later. Who? Let me see here. Hey, Freckles. Saw your friend Asher on the news. Rip. Well, I can see why she has that nickname in Morgan's phone. Thank you. For trying to be sincere. Worth a shot. We all have our strengths. God damn, you are one passive-aggressive little girl. Why's all your filial piety go out the window whenever you talk to me? Filial piety doesn't work on you. You love yourself too much to appreciate respect. True, went the train. See, Freckles, you can be very insightful. When you aren't too busy side-eyeing the whole world. Wonder where I picked that up from. Not from me. I'm pretty sure you were born muttering insults under your breath. The nurses tried to make you cry and you responded by giving them self-esteem issues. Did you ever have dealings with Noble? 10 out of 10 shift in the convo. Subtle as a car crash. Subtlety doesn't work on you either. Well, it might. If you were good at it. This is me asking for advice. Okay. I guess this never sunk in. 'Cause you spent most of your apprenticeship asleep. But my clients were all celebs. The rich and famous. I didn't have that many dealings with the Megs that owned their likenesses. Is it really that different? Plenty. Celebs don't like people seeing their dirty side. So they pay smart people like me to clean up their messes. But Megs don't like people seeing them at all, period. And also, Megs are a lot more lively when it comes to ing. Gross. Hard workers with a lot of stress to vent. Stop. Do you have any actual help to offer? Truth be told, I did have this one run-in where I got deep into a corporate intrigue. Why? Because I got up of Annie Life's 45 poster girl. God damn it. Hard worker. Lot of stress to vent. Glad to know I can always reach out to you in my time of need. I'm gonna let that slide because I know you're mourning. Look. Corporate types are all a bunch of paranoid drug addicts. Puffing glue and playing roulette on their phones. While fantasizing about stabbing everyone else in the meeting to death. So don't expect them to play nice just cause Asher was your pal. My actual advice is, get whatever you're owed. Then get there as fast, boy. That's a beautiful thought, Auntie. I mean it. Corporations prefer Viking funerals. What's a Viking funeral? A dignified ceremony where the body is sent out to sea on a boat. Then, they set everything on fire and sink the ashes at the bottom of the ocean. Try not to linger, Freckles. You don't want to be stuck on board when they start knocking the air arrows. Thanks. But what the hell was that about me sleeping on the job? I worked harder in one day than any of your Gen Alpha drunks did all week. Should've worked smarter. And if you want to go there, you did literally fall asleep on the job. At the Christmas party? I mean, to be fair, it's a party. She's allowed to do what she wants, you know? What is that? Why do you have that? It's not even accurate. Work parties are still work, Freckles. I only had my eyes closed. Because all you old farts had your cameras flash on. Morgan, is something wrong? You're sweating. Just deleting some spam. We've got a couple more minutes of crawling through the canopy's guts before you reach David's part of the city. Uptown, our better half. Gleaming opera houses and towering corporate apartments. Boutique shops with more cameras than customers. Penthouses stacked upon penthouses in a frantic climb to the top of the rat pile. All ringed by restaurants with long wait times and small serving sizes. The joke is that Uptown folks go most of the year without touching street level. Not much of a punchline there. It's basically true. By now, his whole block must be swarmed with cops, themselves surrounded by media, and all encircled by onlookers. I could try and enjoy these last few moments of calm, but the storm's coming either way. I'd rather use this time to try and find my footing. Actually, Jess, if you've got 1 second, I was curious about... the headline, though, but also if I could catch up with chat going on. I mean, to be honest, going off the moon, the exact timeline, it's kind of unclear whether Codevein 1 was set up in America and Infus Blind Spot in the universe, and just separate from the nonsense of the other 3 God Eater games, or an alternate timeline. I lean toward the latter, personally, and the exact timeline, and again, Codevein 2 is more of a soft reboot than anything unrelated to either. Yeah, I'm over here just thinking to myself, again, the explicitity of the idea that this is not a sequel to Codevein 1, it kind of says everything it needs to in regards to that, but I'm also over here just like, I hope this means that it's not absolutely to its detriment reliant on magic again, you know what I mean? Either way, we'll see how it goes later in the month, you know? I saw that headline, by the way. The one where your warm android saved the soldier's life. Oh yeah, pretty feel good, don't you think? So folks at the company must have been in high spirits lately, I take it. And that's what I thought when I first heard about it, but I don't know. Maybe upper management's never happy, Wait, hold on. Code Vein 2 is a reboot? Correct. They literally said they can't put it in the same universe, you know? Let's see. Because they're still just writing sales harder than ever, pushing the traditional consumer markets. I thought they'd start building a pitch for Congress the day the story dropped. A big patriotic campaign telling everyone why we need a contract for warm androids in the military. But I haven't heard about them moving staff around for anything like that. Maybe it's all about my pay grade. All the corporate power and money in the world. And they're still such joyless assholes that won't even celebrate their victories. Do I get to know about the request? Jess, I have to wonder. What kind of request did David make of you that it couldn't wait a few days? Right, of course. He asked me to give you something. Something? Is she trying to build suspense? Right, it's just, well, I don't know exactly what it is. You have no idea. He asked me to give you the contents of his safe. Are we headed to a bank then? No, see, he has this private safe in his basement. Maybe you've seen it? Well, I say safe, but it might be more accurate to call it a storage locker or a false wall. And he told you that he wanted me to have what's inside? You're right. He was very clear about that part. Your eyes only, straight into your hands. Handle it in person, he said. Strange. It's all pretty analog for someone as technically gifted as David. Coming from anyone else, I'd call it paranoid. But David was never paranoid. Even when he had every right to be. If he wanted this handled a certain way, it must be for a good reason. So what was your relationship like? Remind me, how many years did you and David work together? Oh, well, I started with the company about 4 years ago. They offered me a temp contract when I was still graduating. I was put in HR right in the middle of a hiring burst, so I spent 2 months in the Warrens. Then, an aptitude test got me fast-tracked to mid-low level management. Sorry, Warrens? Oh, that's what we called the company dorms back then, on account of all the people. Plus, it was underground. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If my company offered me housing, but it has to be underground, and I'd be sharing it with all the other employees, I'd probably be saying no, you know what I mean? That sounds more like a debtor colony to me. Watch Kaiji, by the way. I promise you, it's extremely poignant to where we're going in society, but still. Didn't see the sun that first month. My skin got so dry. Is that normal? In your industry? Normal for everyone I've ever worked with. Except David, of course. But I mean, he was the best. Yeah. One Tuesday morning, Dr. David Asher walked right up to my desk like I had won the lotto. Said I should come work for him. Dr. David Asher, directly. On a random Tuesday morning, like it was nothing. He didn't like to do things on Mondays. Said people were always too tired to get anything done anyway. Yeah, that's right. He did say that. I should know by now, right? 3 years of arranging meetings and keeping him organized and occasionally straightening his tie. He was a good boss. He was a good guy. Yeah. When did you last speak with him? In person? Thursday. Thursday afternoon. The day before yesterday. He seemed normal. I mean, I didn't... We still don't really know anything, Jess. You're right. Thanks. Thursday's the last time I saw him. That's when he asked me to meet with you. And you're telling me you have absolutely no details in regards to how he died, right? I'm guessing you've already been to his place? Yeah, it's a real mess over there. It's that bloody? Oh god, no, not that kind of mess. I just meant with the cops stacked on the media, stacked on the lawyers. Each of them with their own network of drones and all their droning. It's very high productivity atmosphere is what I mean. I think the word you're looking for is claustrophobic, but you know. When were you able to get over there? Well, I got a call from legal last night. They weren't exactly delicate in the breaking the news to me. Last night? They said they needed my help sorting through all his... Well, you know how things left. You know how he left things organized sometimes. He's been dead since last night and they kept it under wraps that long. I know there are a lot of powerful people in his circles, but stop it from leaking over 12 hours? That seems like more than just your typical powerful people trying to control the narrative. Seems more like there's something they're actively trying to suppress. So you found out last night? Right, last night. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. I should have told you as soon as I found out. Really, it's all right. Did you see anything? No, I still haven't actually seen him at all. He was airlifted to the hospital ASAP, and that's where he passed, so... But, well, I didn't get the impression that the cops had been there that long. Not compared to the lawyers. And the rest of the company, people seemed pretty entrenched. Noble set up camp before the police even arrived. So, what time would that have been? I guess I got there around 9 p.m.? Yeah, because 9:15, they switched my phone to silo mode and I got locked out of everything but my work stuff. It sent my last blob at 9:13, see? Gonna expire whoever put me in heels this morning, it me. They can do that to your phone? Lock you out of social media? Of course not. Well, unless I'm on the clock, or off the clock but on company property. Then they can remote all my tech, yeah. Yeah, I kinda hate that. I understand company policy on that level of just don't go out there spilling company secrets, but to be able to remote into your phone just says everything about the current state of where this place is, you know? But you know, it's feeling like we're edging closer and closer to that, you know? How convenient. So if I got a call in at 9 p.m., I guess the rest of the company people had been there since 8:30 p.m.? I hadn't been there more than a few minutes before the mood changed. What about the hospital declaring him dead and started to leak? Let me see. He died after he reached the hospital? That's unexpected. It's 2086. You might be in trouble if you get stuck in bureaucratic purgatory when you need to be in the emergency room, but other than that, if you reach the hospital alive, a good doctor can stabilize most any patient within a few moments. And Noble Electronics' lead programmer would have had a very good doctor. So, what the hell happened? Is she mistaken? Was he just not officially declared dead until reaching the hospital for some reason? Or... Hard to think about, I know. Yeah. Or hard to believe. So, David asked you to do this on Thursday, correct? Yeah, Thursday. And he passed last night. Friday. Yeah. Wait, you don't think that when we met he had already decided? It's not healthy to speculate on that sort of thing. More importantly, it's not helpful. The dead don't have anything to offer the living. I should know. You're probably right. Besides, we'll need to focus. Judging by the size of the crowd I'm looking at, it looks like we're about to jump into the thick of it. And everybody knows, but no. I'm sorry, I can't keep making this joke. We will finally reach La Lunchley Land at some point, but still. Either way, and I thought there were a lot of police here before. Maybe too late to ask, but you're not bad with crowds, are you, Morgan? She's kidding, right? It's downright airy in here compared to what we just waded through. Wide eyes and clenched fists, head peeking over the shoulders and around signs. Police, both mechanical and warm-blooded, closing ranks with holograms and quick-set wires to draw a severe perimeter. While protesters, mourners, fanatics, and busybodies shuffle about the edges of the police line in the heat of their panic anxiety washing over. Who the hell were all these people? Well, there've always been people with strong feelings about our products. Androids step forward in the mob, gently, firmly, unfeelingly parting the human tide. Most of them with official police branding, but a few remotely deputized consumer models emerge from the crowd to join them. All of them built by Noble. All of them built from David's code. All of them standing vigil outside his tomb. This is all technically company property, isn't it? Yep, David had the penthouse all to himself, but every other floor's tenants are Noble employees too. Not an uncommon arrangement in Uptown. Work at Noble, rent from Noble. Wave hello to your Noble neighbor in the morning and make sure to request a spot in line at the official company crematorium. They don't actually do that last part, I think. Does Noble handle employee funerary arrangements? Yeah, it's pretty standard benefit actually. It's cheap for them compared to dental. Why is it always dental that's the hardest thing to get? But Noble's always been generous with benefits. Work hard and the company will have you set for life. And after. Both the state and Noble have gotten themselves entrenched here in the lobby. Security and damage control and PR and liability. Everyone's just glad to be working. I'm feeling a little overstimulated. Any chance we can skip all the checkpoints? No, absolutely not. So who do we need permission from? The cops or the company? My request went through, so we should have the go-ahead from both at this point. We won't need to go near the actual, it's still called a crime scene, if it's not technically a crime. I don't want to think about how many suits Noble's paying to debate that question right at this very instant. David's vault is in the penthouse basement, but we can't get to it from these ground floor elevators. We'll have to ride straight through the rooftop veranda, walk in his front door, and then head down. If Jess says we can do all that without stumbling across where he died, then... Okay. So, if we just flash my ID card at any problem that comes up, including him.
Hey, ladies. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid we're at capacity at the moment. Let anyone else buy and we won't be able to maintain. You're that lawyer, Morgan.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm over here thinking to myself, hey, look everybody, London's back, and he doesn't have Reyes with him. But you know, I like Reyes as a character. I think she's a little bit too much of a hard-ass, you know? You caught me, detective. How long's it been?
Feels like it's been ages.
Oh dear, not still bitter about our last encounter, I hope. I'll live. I don't see that spunky one around. She taking a mental health day to preserve that unflappable charm.
Detective Reyes is around. Why? You miss her that bad?
I have blind pimples that were more endearing. You two know each other? Jess, darling. Meet Homicide Detective Quasim London. I still don't know how to properly pronounce it, but we're gonna work off of that.
It's a pleasure, miss.
Likewise? As you might have guessed, the detective and I are acquainted. Comes with the line of work.
Morgan's been modest, sweetheart. We're practically blood.
Wow, me? Sweetheart? Something wrong, Starling. Huh? No, nothing wrong. But close as we are,
But close as we are, I still can't let her walk in off the street and onto a scene of an ongoing investigation. Even Noble's lawyers have to play by the rules today.
play by the rules. So there is a game afoot. What makes you assume I'm here in a professional capacity?
You're a criminal defense attorney and we're at a crime scene. Call it an old man's intuition.
Good detectives don't rely on intuition, though, do they? They rely on evidence.
Oh, I don't rely on it, don't worry. I just need to lean on it every now and then when my back acts up.
Oh, cool. Guy gets a bit gray in his hair and thinks it's a free pass to act like a goddamn cowboy. Well, I'm afraid your intuition is off the morning, detective. I'm here on a private matter.
The deceased wasn't your client.
No, that would have been a conflict of interest.
Conflict of? You two knew each other. I see. In that case, allow me to give you my condolences.
Thank you. What I could really use is a bit of your help.
You sure rally fast.
Jess. Right. We have this clearance here, detective, sir, from legal, which allows us...
That's all right, little lady. I trust you. You can leave the paperwork holstered for now.
Little lady? We aren't here for David, really. We won't be setting foot anywhere near you. Your staging area, detective.
All right, why not?
How generous.
I can afford to be generous today, as if I screw up.
He gestures to the lobby full of suits and cops.
Plenty of folks at hand are ready to pick up the slack.
Well, if you're that at ease, perhaps I can take this time to ask you a few questions.
Hey, you can always ask, Tiger. But I think you'll understand what I mean when I say whether or not I can answer is not entirely up to me.
All right, let's see what we're working with here. Investigation, cooperating, the controversy. Honestly, I'm over here just thinking to myself, I'm just trying to figure out exactly where we go with this. I sense an ad break starting in about 2 minutes, so I'm not sure how much we could get out of that. But at the same time, what I'm getting out of it is pretty nice, all things considered. Hopefully it's good. We should... You know what? I think for the sake of brevity, maybe we take a moment to breathe. I kind of need it at the moment because it's getting extremely hot in here. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. How does that sound? That being said, I will be right back with you in just a little bit. unsurprisingly, liking games like these, the hardest part is actually coming up with voices on the spot, you know what I mean? Honestly, between this and Limbus, I am kind of getting the vocal warm-up that I need to actually figure out where I want to be with my own voice, you know? That being said, let's see here. I want to figure out you're tired. Stop thinking about things. The investigation is tiring. Stop thinking about things. Cooperating is bad. Controversy. I'm curious about controversy. David was one of the biggest names in tech. He was the face of Noble Electronics. One could argue androids are only as common as they are today because of his contributions to the field.
Some people feel that way, sure.
So, do you think anyone would want to hurt him because of that?
Remind me, which of us is the detective again?
You really won't let me pick your brain?
You already know the answer. Yes, ads are controversial, androids especially.
We at Noble are aware that our products are sometimes the subject of heated debate, but
no need to quote the handbook at us, miss. Truth be told, I never really understood the hate.
It's not that complicated, is it? How many people have lost a job to an ad at least once in their career?
Every last one of them lost their jobs because their bosses, their flesh and blood bosses, fired them. No, ads are just a symptom. Scratch that, ads are just a product. Getting mad at them is pointless. And vandalizing them is less than pointless, because unlike us, they're all insured.
And besides, Android production has surged over the last decade to become one of the nation's biggest exports.
True. Nice to have at least one thing we can make in this country.
That's right. Noble only outsources the production of a small handful of internal components. And every one of them, every other part of the manufacturing process is done proudly and done right here at home. I am struggling to maintain the same level of anxiety that Jess gives out. You know what I mean? I somehow doubt everyone considers the specifics of Noble's supply chain to be a point of national pride. But you don't need a political science degree to see how much the state values Noble's contributions to the national economy. So, cooperation, how do you feel about that, London? Your boys and Noble getting along with each other, sharing your toys?
Some of the younger ones are still bristling. But I always play well with others, Counselor.
And how well do the Megs play with you? They give you full access to building security.
They've given us access, and they say it's full. Some big penumbra system, top of the line coverage, top to the bottom of the building. The size of the data stream's torrential. It'll be a while before we can start making sense of it all.
A more conspiratorial man might say that was intentional.
Bury us in data and hope we're too swamped to find whatever they're trying to hide. Maybe.
Wait, they gave you full access to the penumbra? But that means every android in the building is feeding you their full spectrum.
You know your stuff. The penumbra pulls data from any androids connected to the building's net, but that's not much help since
there weren't any androids in the penthouse.
Right. You know, I'd heard the rumors. Never put much stock in them, but it's true. Asher really never owned a single android?
Never.
Well, I suppose I might do the same if I was the genius who programmed them all. Every time they opened their mouths, it'd just be
his own lip service refracted 1,000 times over, echoing back at him from behind the mask he carved. So that means you'll have to investigate with the penthouse security cameras.
Yeah, but that should be more than enough to wrap up a case like this. In a good way, I mean. We're very much on top of this, ladies.
Well, I believe it. You look tired, my guy. You're looking a bit haggard. How long have you been here, anyway?
Since this morning. But civilized folk don't call it morning when the streetlights are still on.
Even if he got here around 1 or 2 in the morning. That still means homicide wasn't brought in until hours after Noble had the lay of the land. Sounds like you could use a break. I could use a retirement package. Hey, you're a lawyer, right? Wait, no, I'm sorry. You're a lawyer, right? According to all my business cards.
Think I can sue for elder abuse?
Not that kind of lawyer. Sorry. You would lose, though.
I already regret asking.
Why they got a homicide detective losing sleep over this anyway?
A man is dead, and he wasn't killed by fire or vehicle, organized criminals, or disinformation.
As far as we know.
So at the moment, homicide's technically not the worst fit. But we're leading in name only. On profile death like this, everyone's got an eye on us. And a hand placed firmly at the back of our neck.
Something tells me this is above Detective London's pay grade, but let's see about that. I've been checking my phone, but the only thing the news seems to agree on is that David passed away.
Sorry, but if you're asking for details...
No, thank you. For not letting them make this into a parade.
Yet. We do our best to respect the privacy of anyone involved with an ongoing investigation.
He declined to say victim. Detective, Dr. Asher was a close friend of mine for many years. Yeah, he trusted Morgan more than anyone. Can you tell me if he killed himself?
It looks like that's the case.
I see. Thank you for telling me that. Dr. Ash.
Yeah, you're a whelk. Sorry.
Another round of guarded words. David was an important man, and it has only been a few hours. But all this tiptoeing gives me the feeling that whatever happened to David, it wasn't cut and dry.
All right. Now listen, I don't mind being helpful, and I am trying to be sensitive here. But we really do have a lot on our hands at the moment. So I'm going to have to ask you to be discreet, and ideally, fast.
Well, our business is just in the basement, in David's basement.
But the penthouse is on the top floor, the roof. So its basement would be...
second to last floor. If you want to be technical, detective, the point is, we don't need to go into the kitchen or the parlor. We'll go straight back to his workshop and then head downstairs. The kitchen and the parlor.
I understand. But all the same, I'd like to escort you two ladies there myself.
Wow, an escort, like royalty. Isn't he a gentleman? Huh? Yes, he's... Lead the way, detective. True to his word, London ushered us past the chattering suits and humming drones through the checkpoints and into the elevator. As it climbed into the sky, we got a good look at the growing throng of people gathered outside. And its shifting makeup. Seems like it's mostly protesters now. Or worse, brand loyalists. Idiots led around by the nose their whole life, following the musk of whatever trend is laid out before them each morning. Today's trail having led them here for half reasons they couldn't put into words even if their lives depended on it. Hey Ichi, hello Kiba, would you like to talk about the word of the day? I'm going to say Kaizo Ningen, because you know, I'm technically one of those, but still. They're like insects. This feels like a Monogatari series reference. You feel that, don't you, chat? And they took like them. And they looked like them from up here. They probably already prepared their spin. The Misunderstood Genius of Dr. David Asher, a video essay in 5 parts. Why the company insisted on cultivating such a following for him, I've never understood. They could have easily pinned his achievements on someone more marketable. Some random photogenic employee, a fashion model with glasses. David wouldn't have minded. He never wanted the attention, the chaos. Maybe it's as simple as bad luck. He just happened to have the right look for the part. A man buried in his work, his eyes fixed ahead. I'm over here thinking to myself, how do I voice Morgan? My brain just wanted to go, take it like OG Bayonetta, just go, I feel like a celebrity in this town, and honestly, I'm not sure that's entirely far off from what I'm doing right now. I could maybe lean more into the funny tenant voice, but at the same time, good lord, I haven't heard that woman in 4 months at this point.
This is... what? A laboratory?
His shop, he called it.
How down to earth.
It's messy in here. David was always disorganized. Why a programmer needed to make such a mess just to run tests on computers, I'll never. But sloppy as he could be, he didn't like it when other people saw it. If he was leaving things like this, he must have not entertained any guests down here in some time. Thanks for all your help, Detective London.
Don't mention it.
What? You want me to step out? We won't take long. Not looking for boldness, are you? Look, I have to take a phone call. We'll be in and out as soon as possible, promise. And whatever Dr. Ash wanted to set aside for his foundation, we'll be sure to flag it. Right. At least she's already wearing gloves. If we find a dead body, you'll be our first call. Morgan, what was that stuff about his foundation? Dr. Ash's charity has always been managed by an outside group. You haven't spent a lot of time around crime scenes, have you? Actually, this is my first. Well, generally speaking, it's not common to retrieve things from the premises while cops are still searching them. Oh. Look, if David wanted to give it to me, had something to give to me, we can go get it. We just can't make a ton of noise about it, understand? Of course. Great. After you. Right. As quiet as a church house. The phrase quiet as a church house. The phrase is quiet as a church mouse, but do they still have churches in this society? I don't know. Myself, I'm okay. I'm okay. But now it doesn't seem like the time to correct her. David's shop was a mess, but the mess felt familiar. It was very David. Coming down here, I barely recognized the place. For starters, it's a goddamn gym. David hated exercise, always claimed he didn't have the time for it. Even when I got him that treadmill and the subscription for the personal coaching program with the scheduling subroutine. He said he couldn't find the time. And then, even when I explained to him that the program accounted for that and adapted to his schedule, he still... Morgan, what's up? You're smiling. What's so funny? Nothing. Just surprised to see the place renovated. Yeah, he actually had me on mail tag with a couple contractors a while back. Never thought I'd have to learn so much about concrete and wiring and marble. Do you know that marble needs to be treated or else indoor air will start to corrode it? I didn't know that. Is that true? Wait, is it not? But her guy told me that without an epoxy finish, the entire bar table would... Is that the vault over there, then? Yeah? It stands out, I guess. Is that true, though? I'm gonna believe yes, but still. Nervous. What's that? Oh, a little, I guess. But the inhaler helps mostly, so... Aren't you going to open it? Open it? Don't you know the combination? No, I don't have the combinations to David's basement vault. Oh. Oh. Oh no, how could how didn't he didn't tell you? Or give you a code, or... He gave me the code to get into the building. And the parking garage. But not the code to whatever this is. Okay. You know, there was a lot of scattered papers back in the shop. Could he have left you a note on one of them? Yes, he could have. He would have. In fact, I think he probably did. You just stay right here, Morgan. I'll have this settled in just a sec. Sounds good. This is the part where we find out Morgan had a code the entire time. Then... Well, it's definitely locked. Looks like it's a Tethys-based stirred cure, anti-hack, anti-digital, high-rated code panel. Nothing basic about it, but at least I can see the password's limited to 6 characters. You know what, we're taking a bit of a lore dump with that. Let me see here. Wait, no, we already had that one. Let's see here. Tethys. Tethys is the largest online shopping and consumer shipping corporation on Earth, and a dominant economic force that frequently courts controversy by skirting monopoly and labor law in every nation in which it operates. And yes, we really do have everything for sale. So ditch this lame-o search engine and head over to our online store to find what you're really looking for. Hot stuff. Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account. Either way. Only 1 million possible combinations. I would like to take a gamble. Slim chances, but what the hell? Why shouldn't I give it a shot? Okay then, Chad, I want you to decide on this in regards to this. Do you think it's his birthday? Do you think it's Morgan's birthday? Or do you think he's one of those tech nerds who think they can skirt away with using the obvious password as the less obvious password for people who are too tech-minded to avoid using the obvious password? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be incredibly funny, you know what I mean? Let's see here. Water helps keep my octave correct, but at the same time, you know how this goes. I am having a beautiful day, nonetheless, and just going, hey, look at that, I'm having fun just figuring stuff out. That being said, I'm gonna try the funny one. Please. Nothing's happening. Okay, that was dumb. I don't really want to dwell on why I thought that could work. Get it. There's a different terminal over there. Hotter security systems, according to the label. Maybe it controls the whole room. Damn, the password's protected too, and the code's 64 digits long? What's the point of a camera system that's harder to crack than your literal vault, you egg-headed? Okay, yeah. A programmer probably would care more about his IoT than whatever he can fit into a safety deposit box. I guess the 6-digit vault or nothing. But I'm a lawyer, not a lockpick. And whatever other felonies I get up to in my private time, I've never pulled off a bank heist before. Only tool I've got here is my head. So what do I know? I know whatever David put in his safe he wanted to keep secure. And I also know that he wanted me to have it. So maybe he thought ahead. Maybe he guarded it in such a way that I would be the only one who could get to it. David liked games, and he really liked beating me. So if he's left one last puzzle for me, I don't mind going another round. Oh boy, we get to look around for clues. Let's see here. David's wine collection, still towering over the room. Don't know why he'd buy so many bottles. He didn't even particularly like the stuff. Maybe just to fill out all these shelves. But not all the bottles are untouched. Some of them don't have dust on them at all. There's a mechanism for retrieving the bottles off the rack. The latest bottle chosen was a Megiddo 81. Could be significant. Except vintages only list the year they were bottled, not the month or day. It's not enough digits for the code. What else you got for me? This must be a spare liquor cabinet. Damn, there's a lot of good stuff in here, and a lot of bottom shelf swill. The kind of bargain bin vodka and nose burner whiskey that only an undergrad programmer could love. Nostalgia sweet like that. Overpowering. 1 part per million can cover up even the cheapest aftertaste. What else? Let's see here. That's a skill crane. That's a wall. Wait. It's a very big painting. And it's, impressionist? No, cubicle. Cubist, which is still incorrect. Okay, fair enough, game. Yeah, cubicle. That sounds about right. It is not. Okay. Whatever its style, I do remember that David liked this painting. Let's see if we can learn about that painting. Let's see. The big blue painting, Predator. Predator is an oil-on-canvas painting by the mid-21st century neo-abstract expressionist Mads Haestorp. Arguably his most well-known work. It was displayed at the Krullheim Center de Art Moderne for 9 months before Haestorp entered the premises on 11/25/58 and used a hunting knife to cut the singular mass of canvas onto 3 separate pieces. When asked for comment, Haestorp replied, "My works are not complete until I have them signed." Whatever you say, artist, but let's see. If there was a date on it, there could be a 6-digit password, but I don't see one anywhere. Maybe signing your work was considered gauche amongst the cubicleists? Is there more wine? Let's see. What about the gym equipment? Taking a closer look, this is pretty serious looking setup resistance training equipment. And these weights, they're all set near the max. If Noble hadn't appointed him a nutritionist along with his stylist, David would be downright scrawny. There's no way he was putting up these numbers. In which case, the digits on weights could be a clue. But there's too many, and I can't guess the order. So what the hell, Asher? Did you just set all these weights to max because it looked more neat? There's a crack on the floor. This flooring's new addition. A new addition. Looks like sandpaper, but it's bouncy. Christ. Feels like something you drag your feet on at the gym or on a factory floor. It's more high performance than high class. Expensive, but not in the way you'd expect for a penthouse. Well, scratch that. It's actually cracked here. Rubber doesn't break, it bends, that's the thing. So someone must have cheaped out during the installation, left a defect in. That, or David left a jackhammer on overnight. Alright, I've searched the whole room now. Time to make or break. This doesn't tell me a lot. And I also... I have no idea what I'm working with here. Let's see. I wasn't expecting to have to do this right out of the way, but at the same time, I was just looking for stuff. Let me see here. I am very curious what it could be, but let's see. That's not gonna work. No dice. I feel like there was at least one hint I came across. Yeah, that's what I want to look at. Give me a second here. Let's see here. Tethys doesn't tell me a lot. No, Hopper, IoT. The Internet of Things refers to the network of data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. Phones, computers, security systems,
Why isn't this working?
feedback devices,
Missing.
body modifications and prosthetics, and of course automated dependents all comprise a small but vital part of this network. How are you, Spectre? Would you like to solve the code with us? Let's see. Without IoT stability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss on the valuable insight that data has to offer. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the package of usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information throughout your day. As your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment, and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs let you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. Not interested in spending that. Let's see here. What else do we have to work off of? Let's see. David Asher was a renowned computer scientist, user experience designer, and industry leader, philanthropist, and lead programmer at Noble Electronics. He first received worldwide recognition for his postgraduate thesis on intelligent programmatic linguistic weighting, a body of work which would come to be known as the Turing solution. Though he retained the original patent on the Turing solution for the rest of his life, he was famously unlitigious. By most industry experts' estimates, the Turing solution exists in some form in 92% of active automated dependent source codes. David Asher's philanthropist efforts were an invaluable skills placed him in front and center of Noble Electronics' public image. Many considered him to be the unofficial face of the company, and his private life graced the tabloids and gossip sections of the net on many occasions. David Asher passed away June 31st, 2086. This citation needed. This entry has received an unusually large number of suggested edits in the last 44 minutes. The dissemination of disinformation is a Class 3 misdemeanor. Spreading conspiracy theories about public figures is violations of our terms of service. This really doesn't tell me a lot, but let's see here. The Big Blue Painting. 112558 is something we could try. Hmm. 112558. The day the painting was signed. A password that is and isn't left in plain sight. Nice one. Hey, Morgan, What? How did you get it to open? What is that? I turned back around just in time to see a door finish swinging open with mechanical grace, revealing a girl. I'm sorry, what? With a barcode emblazoned across her temple, required by law to be plainly visible. It's an android, clearly marked as such. And yet, even standing this close, I could swear it's snoring. I stepped forward and placed the back of my wrists on the android's brow. Warm. It must be a prototype for the Animate 16. Or maybe a prototype for the 17 or 18? A biomechanical android with real human flesh. Sorry, biomechanical yes, but it's organic flesh, not human. They're grown from lax Gemini cultures, but Sorry, I misspoke. Right, understandable, since you seem surprised, Jess. Has Noble been working on warm androids like this one for a few years now? Warm androids like this one? I mean, yes, we have. sorry. It's just that this particular model is very, it's very cutting edge. Bleeding edge, just by the flush in those cheeks. I think it's safe to say we found what we're looking for. I think so too. That presents a problem then. Oh, do you not, approve? I've got nothing against androids. My concern is a bit more immediate and, well, practical. Practical? I don't know how to turn it on. Do you see a switch or something? Do you? Can we, turn it around, or? I poke the android's ribs. A little less give than I expected, given its frame, but the rigidity is remarkably lifelike. I place my hand on the shoulder to give it a shake. It doesn't budge. This thing has to weigh more than... Right, androids mostly transport themselves, so people are always surprised to find out they're a bit heavier than they look. A bit? I'm surprised this whole room isn't slanted. There's no way in hell we're moving this thing without waking it up. Crap. First the vault, now this. I was able to guess the combination just by poking around. Compared to that, finding this hunk of junk's power switch should be child's play. And I think I know where to start. Jess, I'm going to step back into the lab for a moment, alright? Huh? Oh, sure. There's gotta be a manual around here somewhere. Good idea. I think it might be some kind of prototype, but it's still got a barcode. Maybe you can scan its GIN number and find something in the company files. What the hell is a GIN number? Let's see here. A generic identification number is a string of numerals typically encoded into a barcode that labels an automated dependent. Early on in the automated dependent industrial revolution, concerns about the lessening gap between man and machine led governments to pass laws mandating that all ads clearly identify themselves as such to counteract rampant disinformation and identity theft campaigns. Manufacturers responded by stamping the GIN code onto android bodies, most commonly above the cheek or above the collarbone, or on the back of the hand. Some companies placed the GIN number on the wrist, but that quickly incurred backlash. Gee, I wonder why. But even still, concerns about automated dependents impersonating humans have dropped precipitously since then, and the GIN has instead taken on new life as a cultural icon, as powerful and easily recognizable as any corporation's logo. Fake GIN barcodes, fins, are one of the most commonly requested tattoos. The vast majority of the reputable parlors will draw a line through the barcode once finished to avoid breaking identity law, though there are some clients who care little about the consequences. MMA fighter Somli Paga infamously sports a GIN tattoo across his right knuckles and makes a show of signing a check to pay the fine for displaying a false GIN on an international broadcast every time he enters the ring. That's crazy. Why would you do something like that? Yeah, of course. All generic ID numbers should be paired with industry-standard files on maintenance, tracking, power requirements. Somehow doubt that the enigmatic android taking a cat nap in a sarcophagus in David Asher's basement will have a user manual. But it can't hurt for her to try. And... I'm sorry, what? I'm okay. Broke a heel, but I'm okay. I carry glue. And I'd rather search the lab by myself. I'm gonna be rude with you. Jess seems a little bit like a klutz, but that's fine. Now then, if I were David and I wanted to make sure that only one person would be able to walk out of here with that android, how would I set that up? Let's see. Whoa. Immediately look at them. These appear to be holding tanks for something. How should I know? No labels on anything, typical for a genius. But a nightmare for anyone trying to pick up after him. It's a lot more hard science than I expected in here. centrifuges and glass and microscopes. Don't programmers do all their work with a keyboard? What about this globe? No? Okay. Let's see here. Wait. There we go. Looks like a fairly common, fairly normal computer. If I'm lucky, the security will be fairly normal as well.
Boot up complete. Username?
Local commands. David Asher? Morgan? Guest?
Thank you for logging in as a guest.
It didn't recognize my voice. So I can probably rule out a vocal command being the key to waking the android.
Do you have a question?
More than one. For now, though, what should I search for on his computer? Android Basement Morgan. I'm going to assume that one last because, frankly speaking, we are here for a reason. Search files for Morgan.
23 results on the local drive.
I can work with that. Mostly phone book and social data. But I don't recognize this file type. Some kind of personnel format? Date of birth, education, occupation, blood type, height, and... Wait? Alright, buddy. Little invasive, don't you think? DNA and fingerprints. Now, why do you have that, David? My DNA isn't in any database. I've made sure of that. So he couldn't have brought this anywhere. He must have collected it himself from a wine glass or the like. It would have been easy to do so. But why do it? I'm gonna keep it a buck. If it's found out that the android is actually basically a genetic replica of Morgan, based on what Asher has wanted, that's gonna be really weird and really funny at the same time. Let's see. Diagrams of human anatomy. The hands are highlighted. The most developed part of the human body, good for making stone axes and sending emails. Robots and frames can do just fine with claws or three-digit imitations. But androids are expected to look like people and move like them too. Getting the hands right must have been a big priority at Noble. That tree-like shape on the right is a neuron. Those branches receive input on varying weight, and then if the sum is greater than a certain threshold, the neuron fires. The zero becomes a 1, and all the other zeros around it take that into consideration. Repeat that a couple billion times a second, and you've got the human brain, a computer powerful enough to simulate all of reality. That's the analogy I've read in the magazine, anyway. Alright, what else you got? Haven't seen one since college, but this must be a 3D printer. Of some sort. It was expensive enough to make other printers look like a soda fountain by comparison. Better not mess with any of the settings. Alright, I'm starting to get a pretty clear picture of what it'll take to turn on this android. I've got the what, but the where and how. I'll just have to manage. It's still just a piece of machinery. If it really won't turn on, I can always start hitting it. Please don't hit the child. Morgan, there you are. I've looked into every registry I could find and every database I could get into, but I don't think this android is in the system. It was a long shot. Don't beat yourself up over it. Yes, but an android without the proper identification is... It's only buying or selling an android without proper identification that's illegal. And it doesn't seem like he ordered this one online. I guess you're right, huh? We'll have it registered soon enough anyway. I think I figured out what we needed to do here. Oh? If David really wanted me to have this, he would have left some way for me to turn it on. What are you thinking? David had my fingerprints and my DNA on file. By requiring both, he could be reasonably sure that no one was powering up this android without my approval. You've done a swap before, haven't you? Every month for the company. Apparently, they're building a database on employee epigenetics cross-reference with... Oh, so you're gonna... My DNA and fingerprint make the key. Now, where to find the lock? Nose, lips, hand, chest. I genuinely do not know where to go with this. My brain wants to say hand, but at the same time, I have no idea. Let's give it a shot anyway. There was that diagram back in the shop. Was it meant to be a literal handshake verification? Huh. I thought that would work. Me too. Alright, fair enough. I want to go for nose. The nose? I guess it's not impossible. Morgan? Are you really going to stick your thumb up its nose? No, I'm not. If it takes something that silly to boot it up, I don't even want it anymore. Not the lips. The lips are one of the most sensitive parts of the body. Not the worst place to make a scan, even if it's gross placing my finger there. Oh, that's still not doing it, huh? Come on, do I really need to push my finger deeper? Jiggle the key? Oh man, you went right in there. Are you touching the tongue? It's blinking at me. Oh, well then fair enough. Good morning. Well, good morning to you too. Cute. Hello. I've never seen you two before. I guess we should introduce ourselves then. Hi. This is Jessica Starling. She works for Dr. Asher. I'm Morgan, a friend of his. You got all that? I understand. She is Jessica Starling, and you are Morgan. Last name unknown? No, Morgan is my last. Father told me about you. Father? He did? Wait. Father? David. You had it call you Daddy? I am referring to Dr. David Asher. Are you confused? No, that's not the word I'd use. I'll throw a bone beyond the grave for good, Doctor, and just move this along. Did David say that he was giving you to me, transferring ownership? Ownership? That is correct. And what else did? Mostly correct. Right. What else did he tell you? Many things. Can you specify? I thought conversation was the first thing David figured out how to program. Did Dr. Asher tell you anything he wanted you to convey to Morgan? A message you were supposed to pass on? Yes. Jess, I think it's trying to... Oh, okay, sure. I'll give you two... Or, well, I'll give you some privacy, Morgan. I've actually gotten about 14 messages in the last 2 minutes, so... I'll just head back up to the lab and take some calls, okay? Thanks, Jess. Yes. Thank you, Jess. You're welcome. Just the two of us now. So, what do I call you? My name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you, Morgan. Trust me, the pleasure's all mine. So, what's the message? Father told me that I would be living with you from now on. And he told me that you would look after me. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Should it? A model this lifelike with warm and breath and something close to blood in its veins. Just, what are you actually? You forgot my name already. It's Sarah. What were you built for? You're warm, obviously. You're not one of those physical therapy models, are you? That would be highly illegal. I have completed 500 hours of study at state-approved massage therapy schools. Wait, what? Okay, what do you mean by that? I haven't even completed 1 hour. What purpose did Dr. Asher design you for? I don't know the answer to that question. You don't know why he built you? No. Should I? How couldn't you not? Do you? Would I be asking you if I did? I meant, do you know why you were created? Why you were born? The android's first words are to get philosophical. That's crazy. Why me? Why would you? Why are you doing this? You're a freak. A monster. What the hell's wrong with you? Please don't kill me. Please. Why? Why? Why was a monster like you even born? Yes, I walked into that one. I was starting to wonder if you even had the Turing solution. Father's framework for programming linguistics in artificial systems, and the body of work for which he gained international recognition. Yeah, and international jealous. Do you have an answer to my question? An answer as to why you were created? Why you exist? Occam's razor. I'm here because my parents wanted me. I see. Then I will give a similar answer. I was created because Father wanted to make me. Can't argue with that logic, can I? Can't argue with that logic. Father did say that you are a lawyer. Yeah, that's me. You're a lawyer, and I defeated you with logic. World-class high-power attorney, the best money could buy. So do you catch criminals? That's what cops do. Do you litigate criminals? That's what prosecutors do. Then, do you fight for the underrepresented? Expose injustice, sue corrupt corporations and officials? I don't think anyone does that anymore. Then, what do you do? I'm a criminal defense attorney. A defender of the innocent and powerless. Do you also? Now that you know all about me, what can you tell me about yourself? I've never had to do that before. First time for everything. How old are you? I'm not sure I can give a satisfactory answer. Oh, for 2 unanswering simple questions. What's the date on your earliest memory? 2 years ago. And where were you constructed, or assembled, or whatever? What facility? I was not constructed at any facility. Father created me here. By himself. You're saying that if I took you apart, I wouldn't be able to find any markers from any manufacturers, any IDs, or any design of any designer? You want to take me apart? David was a programmer, not an engineer. How could he build a custom android from scratch in the comfort of his own home? He couldn't have. He must have had help, probably a whole department's worth. If I ask around, there's got to be someone in the company who can ID this thing and help me figure out what's so important about it. I'm over here thinking to myself, well, how is the android so smug? But at the same time, you know, I think she's just really proud of her father, you know? And that's nothing I can discredit, you know? Let's see here. You don't look like any android I've seen. What are you made of? This body is comprised of organic tissues integrated directly into cybernetic systems. They require organic nourishment, including water, carbohydrates, and salt. Wait, warm androids have to eat and drink? They cannot be worth that much trouble. My cybernetic systems operate largely as analogs to their equivalents in the human body. I have a respiratory system for oxygen exchange and a centrally located pump that circulates oxidant. You mean you've got a heart? How quaint. But where does all the extra weight come from? Pardon? I tried moving you earlier and it felt like I was pulling against a truck. My skeleton is a combination of medical-grade plastics and military-grade titanium carbide alloy. That sure took the wind out of her sails. My muscles are made of adaptive rare earth alloy nanoweave fiber, with shock absorption and kinetic chain potential rated past... Wait, did you say military-grade? I have a grip strength above 1,000 kilograms. I can run at sustained speeds over 60 kilometers per hour. I can jump 6 meters vertically. I can lift approximately... I'm not sure what kind of grip strength most androids are walking around with, but I've never seen any of them move the way it's talking about. Even just standing there seems to be poised. Controlled, spring-tight, strength and flexibility like a ballerina or a gymnast. Strong enough to flip over a tank, lifelike enough to avoid detection. As long as it never stepped on a scale, it'd make for the perfect infiltration unit. The perfect weapon, if you could keep its development a secret. Did David really put something that heavy on my plate? Dismantling a military prototype in secret? Are you deep in thought? But a military infiltration android would look more like a crew cut and forgettable. And would David really devote personal time and effort to make another weapon for the military? I have other features I could tell you about if you like. If I shot you, would you die? It would be very painful. And there would be a discharge of fluid, but conventional weapons would not prove particularly effective. That settles it. This thing's a weapon. Sure as I... Would you like to know about my hair? Actually, yes. Why is it green and orange? Your hair? I'm impressed you noticed. Each fiber contains miniaturized solar cell lattice technology, allowing me to remain charged throughout the daytime. That must come in handy. I haven't actually had the chance to use it yet. This room has ambient wireless charging functionality, and I haven't gone outside much. Okay, maybe it's not a weapon after all. You're just a pincushion, aren't you? I am not familiar with the term. Searching. Pincushion, jargon, design, refers to prototypes filled with experimental technologies to check for compatibility issues. Got an idea, not sure what to do with it, stick it in the pincushion. It's as good as an explanation as any for what I'm staring at. A mismatch of state-of-the-art military features spliced with odd new technologies and seemingly pointless additions. The end result being a singular, unsellable android that wasn't particularly good at anything and would break down after only a few years. Pincushions are a small but valid part of the field of android manufacturing. They are valuable to collectors who see them as time capsules filled with their designers' most outlandish ideas and least reproducible results. But even in the most nonsensical pincushions are built via committee over years, with numerous engineers and programmers adding to their pet functions. The android before me claims to have been built by one man. A man who's now... Seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you about to relay to me? Besides that you were to look after me? He also told me that you were reliable, and that I should trust you. He said that I was to listen to and obey your instructions. Finally, some good news. This is good news. We can finally get the android out of here. As you say, Adonai. What's that? That word you called me. What was that? Adonai, from classic Hebrew. Translated literally, it means, my lord. Do you prefer that I call you master? No. Very good, Adonai. Why'd David use Hebrew, though? Abrahamic myth tells of servants constructed out of earth and clay, designed to resemble and obey their masters. Golems. Father must have found the comparison appropriate. Amusing more likely. It's just a joke. Father would not make light of such a thing. Sure he would. Perhaps we should ask him to clarify his reasoning for himself. Oh, I don't think you want to do that, young lady. Where is Father, by the way? Is he upstairs? When was the last time you were active? 38 hours ago. Thursday night, then. Correct. Right. David Asher is dead. He died last night. Understand? How? May I see him? See him? No, I won't be able to see him. Funeral's not for another few days. Father was not... He was not sick. I don't feel like doing the whole song and dance with 2 robots in one day. That's very charming, but let's go to commands only. What? What happened? Did he have an accident? Why is it still doing the theatrics? Does it not recognize my authority yet? The police have determined that he committed suicide. For the time being, we ought to focus on getting you properly registered. Maybe then you'll take commands the first time I say them and not. The police are wrong. Excuse me? They are wrong. Father did not commit suicide. He would never do such a thing. Father had... He told me. Look, Sarah... I'm... sorry? You're sorry? Father said you were his friend. How were you so calm? I've been around death a lot. So don't try to lecture me about grief, Spearmint. My name is Sarah. You will use it because my father, Dr. David Asher, the greatest programmer in the world, gave it to me. And he did not kill himself. You know what? I didn't think I was gonna like Sarah to begin with. I really like Sarah so far. Either way, I'm over here just thinking to myself, yeah, realistically, I could see how she would immediately just go, there is no way that any of this happened the way that the police are making it. Especially considering the fact that there is probably a little bit of corporate subterfuge in regards to this, you know? I am sorry, I am slurring my words a little bit. I'm gonna need to slow down just a little, but still. Low-key kinda hard to tell when the speech-to-text doesn't actually do its job, but you know. That's my fault. I'm not actually enunciating properly. Either way, chat, I hope you're enjoying this, because frankly speaking, I'm over here thinking to myself, how long do we actually have with this chapter, but still. I think that's my fault for actually doing the interviews the way I did, but you know. Either way. Let's say you're right. David didn't commit suicide. If that's the case, the police will realize that soon enough. The police have already made their determination. That's what you just said. Father said that you were a lawyer, that you were capable and reliable, and a friend. You should be looking into his death. That's... Is that an order? Of course not. It is a request, Adonai. A request that I'll have to refuse. The police have their job and I have mine. If I stick my nose in their investigation any further, they'll come down on me hard. Cops don't like lawyers on principle. But what they really hate are people who tell them how to do their job. Let's go. We need to. Father asked you to look after me. Yeah, he did. He also said you should obey me, but you don't seem quite as fixated on that part. And he said something else. He said that you owed him a favor. One favor. But then I starts here, Spearmint. That was between him and me. Father is gone, so now it is between you and I. And I am calling in the favor now. What? You don't have to take care of me anymore. Consider that request null and void. You can sell me to some collector, or you can donate me to a university. It doesn't matter. In exchange, you will prove Father didn't kill himself. And you will make sure that whoever hurt him is held accountable. You know what? W. I'm over here just like, hey, Gambler girl, she just called your bluff. Are you willing to take that? But still, honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think the fact that I have almost no comment whatsoever is proof in regards to how solid this writing is. It's airtight. I'm just over here just thinking to myself, I need to figure out how to match the actual energy that Sarah is putting out right now, on account of the fact of, you know, I kind of voice every other android with a little bit of a speech, whatever, but even still, realistically, I'm just over here just like, what do you think, Chad? I'm gonna go off of the limb and suggest that whoever was involved in this probably is responsible for the actual death of David. This totally isn't because I actually watched the first couple episodes of Batman Beyond again and just go, ah, yes, the corporate wants you to find the difference between what looks like a tragic accident and somebody actually staging a tragic accident. It sounds tragic, but even still. Best I can say is, hey, look at that. You there, serial killer. Are you willing to do your job as a serial lawyer as well? But even still. Especially in regards to your client being an actual android that is apparently so human-like that it's basically calling you God to your face, but even still. I'm just over here just like, wow, this actually does really hit my vibe really well. I'm surprised that I never got into this on my own, you know what I mean? That's just proof enough of what it takes to get things going once in a while. Either way, I'm happy with this. I wanted to continue further, but at the same time, we can continue further because the ad break is over. Why are you laughing? It's you and me, not you and I. You and me. David would roll over in his grave if he knew you'd got that wrong. It was not my intention to amuse or rotate. No, that's for damn sure. Fine, I'll take your deal, Sarah. You mean you will prove that Father did not? I mean, I'll look into it. I'm a lawyer. I don't prove anything. I just disprove what I can. Then where do we start? We? Like Nintendo Wii? I didn't realize you had a law degree. I do not have a long law degree, but I am a fast learner. This isn't a job interview. And I am far from useless. I can. The ad did raise at least one good question. Where do I start? I'm a defense attorney, not a police detective. And David was my friend, not my client. I won't be able to poke around it all unless... And I am also capable of... Can you tell a lie? I am capable of making statements that are false. I guess that'll have to do. That lady in red is tired. She's like me for real. I don't know. I think those lines under her eyes are because of the death she's seen, but you know. How are you, Hispanic? Are you recovering from your MagFest journey? Are you going to ask me to lie? Yes. To the police, in fact. Lying to the police is a felony. Androids don't commit felonies. They make errors. I see. What kind of error did you have in mind, Adonai? Mostly recovered. Got a call from my boss later. Gotta call my boss later this week. Jeez, everybody's suffering in January, but even still. Meanwhile, are you sure about this? You have questions too, don't you? Right now, I'm just a little better equipped to get answers than you are. My girl has the anxiety asthma. Understandable. Okay, go for it. I'll make sure they're watching. Is the air quality at Noble headquarters kept up to state standards? What's that? All these Noble employees seem to have asthma. Was Father also working under such poor conditions? They don't have asthma. Then why are they all carrying inhalers? Inhaler lore, let's go with that. First legalized in 2083, the stimulant sold under the name Adroxone has since become one of the most widely used drugs in the corporate world. As a Class 2 stimulant of the least concern, employees of any corporation in good standing with the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight can have access to Adroxone without a prescription so long as their HR representative feels it would be beneficial to their performance. Workplace Adroxone, as it is sometimes called, is dispensed through biomonitor enhanced inhalers that automatically detect overdoses and keep track of possible habit formation. Automatic safety levels may be adjusted at supervisor's discretion. Unsubstantiated claims that Adroxone was first invented as a purely recreational drug by the notoriously violent Skullhead Mafia caused enough stir that in 2083 a formal investigative committee was formed. Unfortunately, in 2084, an industrial hydrogen fuel accident resulted in the deaths of all 391 known Skullhead members, placing the investigation at an indefinite standstill. Drugs? In your office, it's more likely than you think. Back in my day, we didn't have your fancy little stimulant inhalers. We just did amphetamine like real people. But no. For the sake of legality, this is a joke, but even still. Yes, ma'am, she's right over here. Oh, hey, look, it's Janaka again. Oh, it's you. Oh. It's you. Did I mess up? On the contrary. Eyes wide, she's a DA. Quiet. She succeeded spectacularly in getting Noble's ears perked up. Emma Rockford. Didn't think I'd run into you here. Yeah, didn't think I'd be here either. But the powers that be think my presence sent a strong message to the Megs, so... No, wait, what are you doing here? A few minutes later. I see. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Detective Reyes, for your many kind words. We can't all be as talkative as you. Normally, quoting poetry would feel pretentious, but you were so genuine in your reading. Bite me. I don't know that there's a need for all that. Very mature, detective. Did you come up with that yourself? Oh, no, that's Kaguya's signature pose. Like the pop star. I don't know what you're talking about. You can admit it if you do. Well, there's nothing to admit because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. She's such a little fibber. Wait, now you're saying you don't know who Kaguya is. She's the most famous. Yeah, well, I just don't know who that is, so... Ma'am? You know what? I'm looking this up. Who is this woman? Let me see here. Kaguya is the stage name of a singer-songwriter known for her powerful voice and her stage persona's intricately crafted lore. After releasing a blitz of chart-topping singles, a quadruple platinum album, and a bevy of cultural reset music videos, in just the last 3 years, she has become considered the leading living figure in the pop music and cultural realm. Kaguya's official age is listed as 1,086 years old. She released her first single, Orbit, in 2083, which went on to peak at #1 on the Lawboard Top 100 and the Rubicon Digital Singles Chart and the NIAT. I'm going to assume that's NI8 music video streaming tracker, making it one of the fastest selling singles in history. Personal details on the pop star remain scarce, and protecting her anonymity has become a core part of her fan culture. When a retired facial analysis expert claimed that her stage makeup was formulated specifically to make facial recognition on her impossible, a representative for her record company met with the press to clarify that she is simply a private person who wants her fans to enjoy the experience that is Kaguya's voice. Users also frequently search for Kaguya Love Lore Explained, Kaguya Iceberg Explained, Kaguya Lunatropic Tour tickets where to buy. Wow. I can't believe it. The world may suck, but they still got idols. I'm surprised. But you know, at least they're actually doing the real thing and stop trying to actually deperson her by looking up her actual life information, you know? This is a real thing people do. Some people even put them on their Patreons. I hate that. Weren't you about to say something? Oh, well, I'm still surprised to see you here now, Morgan. Are you helping plan the services? Actually, the company will be planning Dr. Asher's funeral service. Wouldn't his family want to take care of that? No. No? No. I see. Sorry. But if that's the case, why are you here, Morgan? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to disrupt your morning. Hey, you're here for the same reason as every other suit they've got crawling around. Money. You're not wrong. There are a lot of annoying insects with annoying agendas scurrying around before my friend's body is even cold. But the honest truth is, I don't even know if David had a will. The company helped him manage his estate. Nicholas probably already on it. Actually, judging by how much coffee that intern is carrying into the elevator, I'm certain they are. Right, so if you're not here for the funerals or the reading of the will... Miss Starling asked me to come here, actually on a matter unrelated to David's passing. An unrelated matter? That's convenient, isn't it? But now that I am here, it's come to my attention that the police have made a determination in the case of David's death. And where did you hear that? Am I mistaken? No, you're right. They concluded that it was a suicide. Can't always count on her to be blunt. I was worried about that. Yeah, I'm sure you must be feeling, because I'm going to have to contest that charge. What? The state has made a charge. I'm arguing against it. The hell are you talking about? The police believe David committed suicide. Suicide is a felony in this country, Detective. It is technically a crime to commit suicide, yes, but we're not in the habit of bringing the dead men to trial. Especially not for their own murder, Morgan. No, not to trial, of course not. But there would be a preliminary hearing in a case like this. Technically, as a formality. Assuming the courts aren't busy that day. I'm afraid on this occasion I'm going to have to insist on formality. Yeah, well, you really don't have much to say in the matter. Do you? With David gone, I have the only say, really. I am, after all, his criminal attorney. Wait. But that's a conflict of interest. All that money and he needs his drinking buddy to be his attorney. I'm also skeptical, Morgan. It's a pretty serious conflict of interest to be your friend's defense attorney. You're absolutely right. It is a conflict of interest. And I would have said as much to him if I had the chance. What do you mean? I only found out that he wanted me to be his attorney today. After he died? How the hell did you miss that memo? Embarrassing, isn't it? But to be fair, it was hidden pretty well. Oh, I didn't know you had an android, Morgan. It's cute. Thanks, but it's actually David's. And it's technically my witness. Witness to what? 38 hours ago, Bob, that is, David Asher communicated to me, as a matter of record, the following explicit legal intent. That is to say that that in the case of any and all criminal charges brought against him by the state, his attorney would be Evangeline Morgan. Evangeline. No, wait, seriously, your name's Evangeline? Did your parents name you after a Christmas carol? Should we all be curtsying? It's not that funny. No, of course not. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Evangeline. Or do your friends call you Angel? I hear Kaguya's on tour, Detective. Should I get you tickets? You could have your dad drive you, like all the other 15-year-old. Hey! Feels like we're getting off topic. What were we just... I was telling you that David Asher wants her to be his criminal defense attorney. Imagine my surprise. An android's recording of a verbal expression of intent isn't exactly ironclad, Morgan. That's fair. And if we were going before an upper-level court, I would expect that to be open to all kinds of scrutiny. But we're talking about a preliminary hearing. A formality, as you called it. If he asks for representation, he deserves representation. It doesn't matter whether he's dead or alive. Am I missing something? What difference does it make? Not even an adjutant would be obtuse enough to sentence a dead man. No, there won't be a sentence. The adjutant will render a verdict. And verdicts have consequences, even for the deceased. Is that what this is about? What's she getting at? If the court agrees this was a suicide, that verdict will retroactively affect evaluations of the individual's mental health. Like, whether he was in the right mind or not? You know anything about estate tax law, Detective? No. But I'm sure you'll be happy to educate me. More than happy. An individual found by a court to not be of sound mind can very well give their consent to the lawyer drawing up their will. If his will is compromised, all of David's considerable assets will suddenly be thrown into legal limbo. In which case, the state will be legally obligated to come and pick up the pieces. So this is just about money. I'm almost disappointed in you, Morgan. Well, when you take in consideration all the factors, it's actually more complicated than that. For example... Never mind. No, Starling, you should speak your mind. All I mean to say is that while Dr. Asher did have a significant holdings in art, real estate, and intellectual property, he also, of course, owned a great deal of stock in numerous corporations, principally Noble. If he was ruled to not be of sound mind, and his shares were to end up acquired by the government, Noble would suffer a serious blow to its commercial image and its standing in the financial community. All of which is to say there's a great deal at stake here, not the least of which is the reputation of a man who I was proud to call my friend. You're not buying this, are you? In case you haven't noticed, the city is working closely with Noble on this, and they're not going to let you bring them any unwanted attention. Starling did her part. They're watching, and they've stopped trying to hide it. From here on out, it's a gamble. Noble Electronics has unwanted attention. Why are you raising your voice? If nothing changes, by the end of the day, the whole country is going to hear how David Asher committed suicide. By midnight, there will be questions about his competency. Concerns about why the brain inside every single Noble ad was built by an apparently unstable man. The shareholders will have nothing to do all Sunday but brood about how that sad thought and all its disturbing implications. By the time markets reopen on Monday, I would expect a great deal of volatility. If that's so, I understand Noble's apprehension, of course, Emma. I just feel like right now the fiscally conservative thing to do would be to not get in my way. I like how they're actually considering this as like, oh no, my job, but still. So you've got your reasons, and Noble's got a lot to think about. But why should the district attorney office devote valuable time to playing out this game of yours? Because they're certain they'll win. That goes without saying. Nobody has anything to say. I don't know, I find this funny because technically she does have a point. Basically, the government will completely mull over Noble if anything happens in regards to that. And I'm over here just like, is that really what people want? I'm not even sure at this point. I'm mostly here just going, Morgan is kind of forced to deal with this regardless. And the little android that could probably will never leave her alone until she dies if she doesn't do anything about it, you know? The court should have an opening at 6 p.m. I didn't have anything planned. Then it's a date. Detective, would you get her clearance set up? Yes, ma'am. Updates every hour, yeah. You're out on a limb, Morgan. Better not linger. Here. Clearance for all the relevant sites and police firewalls. You can interview and investigate with your authorities and officer of the court now. If you haven't already been doing that, don't even think about being sloppy with discovery on this. Rockford might think you're funny, but I appreciate your warning, Detective Reyes. It's nice to know you care. I live to serve and protect. Thanks for the assist, Starling. Yeah, no sweat. Are all cops like that? Or are they more like that Detective London gentleman? What's the most don't trust cops answer? I feel like if they're more like Reyes. If I'm gonna be honest with you, but at the same time, I don't even know. The fact that there is an implied importance to this question kind of says a bit, you know what I mean? What do you think, Chad? Reyes or London? I don't know. My brain wants to think. The last chapter implied that they can't stand Reyes because she's too straight-laced. But at the same time, I don't want to believe that a suave older gentleman cop exists in this scenario, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm going to go off of a limb and probably consider saving right now just in case. Where is the thing? There we are. I'm gonna say most are like him. Most cops I met are like London, yeah. Courteous and polite and friendly. Lazy. Oh. Right. Well, I'll see you at the courthouse tonight. If you need anything in the meantime, don't be afraid to ask. Good luck. Both of you. What do we do now? Well, I have a few options. I have access to the crime scene now. Probably the best place to start. I'd like to head over to the company building as well. To get me registered. Among other things. Either David killed himself or he didn't. But if he did, it's most certainly his asshole corporate overlords who were to blame. In which case, I will want to take my sweet time raking them over the coals. What are you doing? Nothing. What about Father? When can I see him? He'll be at the morgue by now. The medical examiner will speak to me now that I'm operating under the court's authority. But if I stop to flash paperwork at every nurse and security guard with nothing better to do than ask questions, I'll have to... What's that look for? You were Father's friend. Thank you again for reminding me. Aren't there people you'd like to speak with? Other friends who'd want to know? Bad news travels fast. I'm sure everyone in the country has heard about David at this point. But all that heartbreak shit did keep me pretty occupied these last few weeks. And I was never one to cry. If there was someone who could tell me more about David's personal life over the last several months, it'd be worth the effort of finding them. Do you have someone in mind? Maybe someone he met recently. He spoke about becoming close with someone this year. A musician. Now that you mention it. There was a P.O. something that David might have mentioned when we talked back in... I will begin a search. I've completed my search. I found nothing. She's so proud of herself. Good for her. Thanks for the old college try. Is that really the best you can do? Father was a private man, in person and online. With just a few letters and the fact that he was a musician, I'm afraid we do not have enough information to narrow down the results, Adonai. No, we have plenty of information. We just need the right person for the job. What kind of person is that? I wonder. What do you mean, expunged? Detainment room 001? What do you mean? And who would you have even called? I don't know. But I still should have gotten my phone call. Instead, I got you. Who are you again? My latest guardian, new foster parent? Want me to call you Mommy? I'm not really the motherly type. Hey, we might actually get along. So I've got good news and bad news. I'm not your guardian. I'm your lawyer. You've been given a lawyer because you're being charged with a felony. Fascist pigs. Skipping school's a felony now? Hacking into a government database is, it's been a felony for a very long time. That wasn't me. They have your keystrokes, your IP address, your login times, and the playlist you were listening to. That was for a homework assignment. Here's what I don't get. You got in, copied the data, could have gotten right out. State wouldn't have even known they'd been robbed until they saw your passwords show up on the black market at clearance 2 weeks later. You know what is showing up right now? Apparently Mercy function rating me in the middle of trying to figure out how to voice Morgan with the sheer deepness of my voice. But even still, how are you? Either way, let me give you the Let me give you the rundown. Hello, Raiders and those who are coming in the dark. My name is Megiddo Ichi, your heaven-hearted hellhouse cyborg avenger, and we're currently in episode 1 of the Devil, a game I did not expect to enjoy as much as I am, but it's for damn sure giving me the vocal workout that I've been asking for in a good bit. How are you people? What have you been up to, if I may ask? Let me see here. Apparently, you are of the same mind as me. But even still, I hope you've been enjoying it. Me, I'm over here just like I got this on a whim on account of a friend low-key giving it to me as a gift, at least episode 1, but at the same time, you know how it goes. Realistically, I'm over here just going, yes, how many Dexter references can I make in one stream? Not many, because I've only seen clips of the show. We're gonna have to fix that at some point. Apparently, the later seasons are bad, but we'll find out either way. Meanwhile, I'm just here. Look, you can give me a little bit of voice direction if you're so inclined to do so, but at the same time, I hope you people are having fun with your experience with it yourself. You know what I mean? Getting back to it. But you didn't get out. You stayed out and made changes to their database. You robbed the bank, got clean money, then dragged a can of spray paint behind you all the way home. Why? Look, I didn't steal anything. That wasn't already compromised. And the only data I edited was my own. So if anything, they should be thanking me for correcting their mistakes. What? Did they get your birthday wrong? My name? Name changes are only 2 pages of paperwork. You just need to fill out the form and get a signature from a parent or guardian. So, what's the good news then? The good news is that I'm your lawyer, not your guardian. The hell? That doesn't count as good news. That's just a thing you said. Don't be so sure. A lawyer's a lot better than a guardian. How's that? Parents, guardians, foster whatevers, they're all supposed to take care of you because it's the right thing to do. A lawyer is someone who always does what's best for you, no matter what, because that's how they get paid. So, how good are you at your job? Look at her. She's so smug about it. The later seasons of Dexter are horrible, but the relaunch season of this year is honestly top tier. Honestly, sounds like I'm in my right mind to go check it out. I want to see what the fuck is Dokes' problem, but still. Hello, mon coeur. I don't speak French, I'm sorry. It's pronounced coeur? I know how it's pronounced. And don't call me that. When I met Fran at the police station, I couldn't help but bet that I'd landed the jackpot. A valuable asset with a skill set complementary to my own personal and private pursuits. Someone who, after seeing the sweetheart probation deal I managed to land them, will probably be more than happy to help me with whatever I need, whenever I need it. Always so cold, Fran. Can't even get a good morning. No such thing. Nothing's good ever happened to me until the afternoon, when people are actually awake. What I got instead was a compulsive liar with a horrific sleep schedule and a crippling addiction to poor time management. What do you want, Red? I can't call you up just for fun. Not if you don't want to get blocked. I need you to find somebody for me. Can't do it. I've got homework. We both know the only time you ever do your own homework is during the class it's due. And I've got sports. You can't tell a basketball from a hockey stick. And I've got a bidding war to win. You're the only person on Earth bidding on 70-year-old Kukai and Air Jodan vintage reps, Fran. I think you can take your eyes off the auction block. So yeah, so sorry, but I'm busy, so... I was hoping we could skip straight to the carrot portion of the routine. What if you insist on doing things from the top? I had an interesting conversation with your parole officer yesterday. Oh, yeah? They've been really into the self prefixes lately. What? Self-motivation, self-actualization, self-help. Oh. And he thinks you could really benefit from it. You're lying. He's gotten all the workbooks ready. Clearly your Saturdays are stacked, so I'll make sure your Sundays are full of... Fine, I get it. I need you to find a local musician. Knowing you, this will be electro swing or something awful. Nate, last name's Powell. Parker. And that's all you've got. They'll be in David Asher's circles. Wait, Asher? You're working that? That should be more than enough for a clever kid like yourself to go on. Don't go expecting any miracles. I need this soon. Within the hour, ideally. Within the... You know I have other clients, don't you? Other clients who actually pay you on time. A musician. Find him. Okay. This is your protagonist. Literally strong arms a child, but you know, this is fine. She is her lawyer too, but still. Dokes is secretly an empath and the best hater in TV I've seen. Reverse Flash is tame against him. I mean, to be fair, one of the most meme-worthy scenes is literally him throwing hands with Morgan on a dock, to the point that the workers are over here just like, is this man under arrest? Literally, people are coming to Dexter's rescue because Stokes is willing to kill that man on the spot, you know? Even talking over the phone, you're very animated, Adonai. What do you mean? Just that you're very expressive when you talk to people. Of course I'm expressive. If I wasn't, how would anyone know that If I wasn't, how would anyone know what I'm thinking? I see. I'll keep that in mind as we... Wait, you expect to tag along? Of course. Father was... Yeah, I know you want to. Why should I let you? Because I am capable and helpful. I mean it. I can take notes for you. And move heavy objects. And I'll learn to do more. Now, I will subject every individual we encounter to a basic survey to procure biographical information on them while I gain experience in questioning, subjugating them to torture. I can help, Adonai. How fast can you fill out forms? Fast? Congratulations, you're halfway to being a paralegal. You know what? Fair enough. I was about to say, let's see here. Like, unemployed paralegal. They updated it in real time. That's fantastic. Anyway, likes martial arts, carbonation, collarbones. Why collarbones? Dislike static, blackouts, elevators, talent. I am good at lots of things. Skills. I am not sure how skills differ from talents. You know what, chat? There's a philosophical question for you. What's the difference between a skill and a talent? I also like the 180-degree rule. You know what? I'm looking this up. Give me a brief second here. I need to know what that is myself. The 180-degree rule is a fundamental cinematography guideline that dictates camera placement to maintain consistent spatial relationships between characters or objects in scene. By keeping the camera on one side of the imaginary axis of action, filmmakers ensure that the left-right relationship of subjects remains consistent, which helps with the audience staying oriented and immersed in the story. Breaking this rule, known as crossing the line, can disorient the viewer and is typically done intentionally or for artistic effect. I'm immediately over here just thinking to myself, is this what the Dutch angle is implying to be? A mistake? A little bit, but even still. You coming? Right away, Adonai. Meanwhile, on July 1st, in the Noble Employee Housing Building. I think a talent is something you've honed, while a skill is an attribute you're informed on. Yeah, I'm over here just thinking to myself, anybody can learn to hammer a nail. It takes a lot to be able to make the nail. But, you know. Well, apparently we have machines for that now. Meanwhile, in the penthouse dining room. Pretty quiet elevators, huh? Meanwhile, in the dining room. You could have taken the next one. It's a busy building, Detective. Can't hold up everyone else on our account. Anything you'd like to grumble at me before I start? Don't touch anything. I don't care that you're wearing gloves. I have been to crime scenes before, you know. Long before the police get there in many cases. Look, Rockford's asked me to not get in your way, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bend over for you. Do you at least have the autopsy report? No. Are you seriously? I don't. She doesn't? The report should have come in hours ago. I wouldn't have taken this long unless the cause of death was still... Then I'd settle for a summary of the preliminary findings. I love how Reyes just absolutely hates this woman's guts because she beat her in a logical argument once. An emergency call was made shortly after 8 p.m. last night via the home security system. Emergency medical services had VTOL in the air within minutes. They landed on the penthouse helipad at 8:08. You can be a talented carpenter, but anyone can be skilled with woodwork. True. Is it your calling, or is it something you picked up on in woodshop in high school and was particularly good at, you know? Anybody can learn to be a streamer. It takes a lot to be an entertainer, which is why I'm trying to get there, but you know. Apparently, the sheer frame loss off of my model that implies something else, you know what I mean? Even still. Dr. Asher was found unconscious with low blood pressure and a weak heartbeat. He wasn't breathing. In-flight auto triage administered artificial CPR while in transit to Gatesfield Memorial. He was declared dead a few minutes after being taken into the emergency wing. I see. And the cause of death is... being investigated. Make an educated guess. He stopped breathing, so they gave him oxygen. His heart stopped pumping, so they had machines take over. His brain activity dropped to 0. And there wasn't anything else they could do. It was poison, wasn't it? What kind? You don't know, do you? They don't know either. Like I said, ma'am, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Why are you certain it was poison, Adonai? Couldn't it have been accidental overdose? If he had overdosed on a commercial drug, even a pre-med student would have spotted it on the hospital's intake screening. They would have been able to pump his stomach, neutralize his bloodstream, and he would have lived. But he didn't live. So it must have been something deadly. A compound designed solely to kill. A fast-acting, deadly poison that causes respiratory failure. The list can't be that long. Even just through process of elimination, the medical examiner should have identified it by now. Unless... You suspect a designer drug, don't you, Detective? Why is it you're only quick on the uptake when it suits you? Nothing else makes sense given what we know, and what we don't. But the CDCA decriminalized and cataloged all recreational drugs. Okay, first of all, what do you mean by that? Let me see here. A series of laws passed in the 2060s that decriminalized all narcotics use and established the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight to administrate the production, licensing, distribution, and taxation of drugs across the country. Overwhelmed by the civil unrest and eager to replenish the government's coffers, the CDCA were intended to reduce the backlog of criminal cases across the country and provide much-needed tax income while also incentivizing immigration with the promise of amnesty. In what was considered a domino effect, other major nations around the globe passed comparable laws that built up their own depleted war chests and revitalized their local economies. The so-called white wave of global amnesty overturned the international drug trafficking market in just a few short years. The gray wave followed soon after, as money-starved criminal organizations waged economic and literal war against multinational corporations for dominance of this new gray market. Fierce competition for government licenses to produce classic narcotics emerged alongside a race to develop new, more powerful designer drugs to monopolize on their sale in the months it would take the government to identify and legalize them. While rates of addiction and overdose deaths have dropped since their peak in the last 2 decades, the dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors' eagerness to earn new customers has continued to fuel the debate over whether the legacy of the CDCA and the white wave as a whole. I can't believe it. You can get cocaine at your local drugstore, but you know, there's a problem in of itself right there, you know what I mean? Let's see. Guess you aren't entirely clueless about politics. So whatever father overdosed on should have been in the hospital's database. You need to update your definitions. You're confusing designer drugs with recreational drugs. Let's see about give me the thing, please. Let's see. In the literal sense, designer merely denotes any drug that is custom-made as opposed to mass-produced, typically outside the pharmaceutical industry standards. A common parlance, however, designer drugs, DDs, deeds, DEDs, are illicit narcotics formulated to produce a recreational high. While the CDCA and the white wave that followed it legalized and taxed virtually all known narcotics, it did so alongside extensive documentation and study, and those laws could only apply to drugs that already existed. Any drug patented after the white wave must go through approval processes and registration with national and international authorities, a time-consuming process that can take anywhere from 6 months to several years. This time lag creates a window of opportunity wherein the organized criminal groups can step in to meet the demand for a narcotic. What has become known as riding the wave is a new normal for the intended drug trade, pitting mob chemists against corporate laboratories in a race to develop newer, more powerful, more easily habit-forming drugs, and cornering the market on them before legislation catches up to them. Users also frequently search for, is Nerve legal yet? Best new Deads 2086. Nirvana designed by who? Who? But still. What is the difference? Recreational drugs are decriminalized and sold through pharmacies after years of testing and mountains of paperwork, while the average designer drug was invented last week in a 19-year-old line cook's bathroom on the other side of the globe. Hospitals can't know the proper countermeasures for an overdose of a drug that didn't exist 48 hours ago. I came across makeshift labs all the time when I was in uniform. The equipment's cheap and widely available. Black market cooks, gray market peddlers, and white-collar lobbyists all chasing each other's tails in a long line to find the next big hit. CDCA didn't change. More people die from ODs than ever before. Only difference is, it's their families finding them in the living room, and not beat cops finding them on the street corners. Real comforting, I'm sure. If it wasn't you talking, I'd say that was a criticism of law enforcement. Not law enforcement, just the law. Wow. The rumor come out, Farrah Reyes actually understands that the law doesn't let her do her fucking job. That's crazy. Assuming it was a designer drug, that would certainly make things more complicated. For the insurance guys, maybe. For us, whatever he used to do it, he still killed himself. Or didn't kill himself, if you insist. I'm going to take a look around now. Yeah, sure, make yourself at home. What's that face for? I thought that there would be an outline. An outline? Around where they found Father. Like in the movies. Like in film. Connect to the police's network and bring their ARCS file.
Good morning.
Well then, good morning to you as well, Swaggy Star. It's been forever. How are you? As you can see, this small green child misses her father, but still, I'm waiting for the update to finish. I bet you are. Everybody's playing Kanto 9 but me. Because we're playing it on Saturday, I need to do the mirror dungeon first. I need more ego shards, please, but still. Instead, we are currently in the midst of visual novel nonsense, so you know, my bread and butter. That being said, I am trying my best to get better at voicing characters at the moment. How do you want the child to sound? Augmented reality crime scene. I see. Get in the Ark. We're going for 40 days and 40 nights. There is an outline. And so, this is where he died at the hospital. This is just where the medics found him. And it's the sensors and cameras they were wearing that create the basics for this ARCS. They didn't realize that they were walking into a crime scene, but their body cams data, well, gathered data all the same. Where do we start? You can start by following behind me and trying to be as quiet as possible. I'm starting to get a feel for when she's pouting even without looking. I want to look at that. I always admired this view. The buildings gleam with reflections of holograms in sunlight, and their shadows obscure all the rundown, rotting parts of town. Maybe the view's secondary. Maybe all anyone really wants is to put as much distance between them and the street level as possible. Is it possible that a witness could have seen something through these windows? Not through these windows. David installed wide-spectrum auto tint in all his homes, all his cars. I didn't know that. Well, you wouldn't notice unless you were viewing the penthouse for more than... Why did he care so much about his windows? What do you think, chat? Why did David care so much about his windows? Let's see. That's a chess set. A chessboard. And a datapad with a series of characters on it. E4, C5, NF3, E6, D4, CX, D4, NX, D4. This is... My brain wants to say it's a cipher. Some kind of secret message, perhaps? Or... Black has checkmate in 40 moves. Wow, a robot that's good at chess. We ought to put you in a museum. But I'll take your word for it. What do you mean? Do you not play Adonai? No, especially not against David. Well, that is to be expected. Anyone who challenged Father to a battle of wits would naturally grow tired of losing. She's very proud of her dad. Good for her. Every game starts the same. Each player has the same pieces, the same moves, the same options. It's a true test of wit, strategy, and forethought. To me, it always seemed too... boring. Too fair. The smarter player wins every time. And that is something you take fault with. Of course. How's a guy like me supposed to win a game like that? I thought it was a cipher. Turns out it's just a game instead. Let's see. It says here that when the medics arrived, he was on the floor, face up. Does that tell you something? I like her hitting the same pose. That's funny. Hey, if you were If you were going to drink a glass of poison, would you be sitting or standing when you did it? I find it very difficult to speculate on that hypothetical scenario. The seat by his body is pulled out. If he was seated and lost consciousness, I would have expected to find him slumped over the table. But if he wasn't found slumped over. No, he wasn't. And if he had been standing when he lost consciousness, I would think he would have fallen forward, at least collapsed less neatly. So what can you conclude from that, Adonai? Only that I'm missing something. Context is sensitive. Alcohol is poisonous. Better take a closer look. Rose River Whiskey, 12 years old. You recognize it? Sure, it was more than partial to the brand. It's a good brand, only a bit overpriced, which is the bargain of a lifetime in David's world. It appears that the police have already tested its contents. No foreign matter present, was their conclusion. Is it possible the police missed the poison? No, even if they can't identify the poison, they can detect its presence by comparing samples of the whiskey to a bottle off the store shelf. So, we can eliminate the possibility that the bottle of whiskey was poisoned. We'll have to find our smoking gun elsewhere. That's a data pad. Give me the data pad. Password locked, but already cracked by the police, it seems. All the dogs were take home safe. Nothing spicy. When was it last used? You know what, you're right, this is awful, but still. 7:48 p.m. Still reading work emails only a few minutes before he committed suicide. Morbid. There's a lot of messages marked priority that breadcrumb their way back to an article. In a stunning and heroic episode, one of the nation's brave soldiers had their life saved by a noble android, and in a way that no other competitor product could. A brave private named Hell was wounded during a military operation whose exact nature and location is currently classified, bleeding badly and far from the nearest triage station. Wow, you are really missing. You want to try for 4, my brother? Bleeding badly and far from the nearest triage station, he was carried to safety by his fellow freedom fighter, an Animate 16 enforcer, one of the few warm androids being currently tested out by the armed forces. But the android didn't just sit there and wait for evac. It opened up its own arteries and pumped life-saving universal donor synthetic plasma into the young man's veins, stabilizing him long enough for him to reach a military hospital. I have no doubt that he'd be dead if there was any other android fighting alongside him, said one of the commanding officers who asked not to be named. I always thought that Noble was only good at making ads that looked. Oh, I know they've got something inside them that no one else can compete with. The story brings a well-deserved shot in the arm to Noble's stock prices and market share. With this one heroic moment, Noble's warm androids have proven themselves to be worth their price tag. And then some. And people in the capital are paying attention. It's certainly an interesting idea, Senator Maving said when asked about committing to a military contract from Noble to provide the armed forces with warm androids. This story's got people talking. If we just ignore our constituents' feelings on the matter, we'd be neglecting our duty as politicians, and none of my peers would ever try to put a price on the life of one of our soldiers. While additional details about the incident have remained closely guarded, the net is currently ablaze with talk of, oh damn, you're not logged into this device. Why don't you pop your user details down below and enable crumbs so you can get the user experience you deserve. I'm not giving you my password. Let's see. This is that article I've seen going around. Why would Noble have it marked as priority? Starling said that they weren't in any rush to pat each other on the back over it, even though they'd won themselves a real prize. Easy PR feels accurate. It's a nice flat bump in the PR for Noble, one of their ads saving a soldier's life. Except they weren't really struggling with popularity to begin with. Guess more good press never hurts. I could have done that better. I'm stupid, but you know, we're playing in high roller mode. I'm supposed to be gathering details anyway. Let's see here. What else do you want for me? What else could you give me more like? Let's see here. Gotta be real, I don't see much of anything at work. Wait. The suspicious liquid. Wait. My mouse and my controller are fighting each other. Give me a second here. The suspicious liquid. Spilled alcohol. The arcs show how it looked last night before it evaporated. No foreign substances in the portal. It's clean. So does that mean wherever this spill came from must be clean as well? That sounds to me like we don't have much else to work off of, but let's see. What about the painting? What about this cup? 2 cups. One empty, knocked over, and one mostly empty. These look cheap. Did his guest bring them? I've seen them before, in the basement liquor cabinet. He keeps these lying around? I knew he regifted those crystal glasses I got him. Ark says there's nothing foreign in the upright one, so it can't have been poisoned. Results are inconclusive on the other cup, however. Looks bone dry. Must have been nothing but fumes left by the time this was considered a crime scene. Just not enough for them. Just not enough there for them to test. Inconclusive could mean... Inconclusive means inconclusive. That's all. Cheer up and read me the results of the fingerprinting. Father's prints are on both cups as expected. But there are someone else's on the upright cup, so someone must have been with him last night. Slow down. All that proves is that someone else touched the cup. Doesn't tell us when they did. And since we don't know who the prints belong to... Adonai, why don't we know who the prints belong to? Are the prints flagged as unidentified? Or... No, there's space for a name, but the field is black. Shit. Am I already that late to the action? Detective Reyes. Yeah. There's a second set of prints on the cups. Is there a form you'd like me to sign? Doesn't matter how nicely you ask. Sometimes people just can't answer. You should know that damn well, Madam Counselor. I was afraid you'd say that. I don't understand, Adonai. What does this mean? It means that whomever those prints belong to has very proactive representation. Those prints belong to a witness. As you've guessed, you're more than welcome to their testimony. But their identity is... The department is being very considerate of the witness's privacy out of respect for their time and appreciation for their cooperation. Fine. Forget the name. That easily. Subpoenas are always an option, but I'm short on time. What did the witness have to say for themselves, Detective? To paraphrase, they came to see Dr. Osher last night. The two of them talked, and they had a drink together. Then the doctor got sick, so they activated the emergency system for the panel in the kitchen. The EMTs came and took them both to the hospital. Osher's condition got worse. All the witnesses' vitals were normal. The witness had their vitals taken. Then there should be a record of their administration at Gatesfield. And that's it. I'm guessing you didn't just take that all on faith. Penumbra set up in most of the rooms on this floor. Everything the witness told us was corroborated by the building's own surveillance system. So yes, we can guarantee that the witness never put anything into Usher's drink. I'm guessing that I can't have the keys to the penumbra, can I? Not until the witness's lawyers are done reviewing it. Lawyers, plural? I don't have time to trade jabs with the law offices of Johnson, Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Say, how about I give you their business card? The law offices of Cochler, Gustav, Prince & Prince. I was close. No way I'll be getting client information out of them directly. If all you bloodsuckers want to get together and tear each other apart, text me before you start. I'd like to watch. Yeah, I bet you like to watch. What does that even mean? I don't know. Needed a moment to think. So, that was it? One chat, one peek at the cams, and you've already eliminated them as a suspect. Look. They were searched. They didn't have any poison, any drugs, not even a stick of gum. Even if somehow they did have poison on them, the camera footage confirms they had no opportunity to use it. They drank from the same bottle as a dead man. As far as the department's concerned, they were nearly the second victim. But they aren't dead, or even ill, from the sound of things. So you think he poisoned his own cup beforehand, then poured for the both of them from a safe bottle? That's what the evidence is telling us. There's nothing in the bottle for the witness's cup. But after drinking from his cup, a cup he prepared himself, he fell ill and the witness didn't. And Usher died with a foreign substance in his body. An unidentified foreign substance. Suicide by poison. I get that you were close, and simple explanations aren't all that satisfying. But that's life. One last thing. You said he prepared his cup himself. Did you see that on camera? He left the parlor to get the drinks and came back with his already poured. The witness says that he got them from the basement. The witness says that, not the cameras. There's no cams in the lab or the basement. That seems like a security hazard. Why would Noble not set things up more carefully? It's intentional. If cams of his lab ever got hacked, outsiders could steal his IP and kick Noble's monopoly to the curb. Right. David did complain about Noble's weird protocols for combating corporate espionage. At least we can take comfort in knowing that Father wasn't alone when he died. Yeah, that's worth investigating. I'm over here thinking to myself, it's crazy that we are actually engaging with this in such a sober manner. Hey, look, a chair. This chair. This chair. This chair. This chair. One chair knocked over, probably where David was sitting. And one chair pulled out, a party of two. He never cared much for socializing, but he enjoyed hosting. Contradictory guy. That's all you're giving me, huh? What about this vent? What about this sink? You've got literally nothing else to give me, huh? Let's see. Police androids monitoring the scene. I'd almost mistake them for the real thing, the way they stand there trying to look important. Like an indoor dog taking its first trip to the park. Pardon. Why are you looking at it like you've never seen an android before? Because I haven't. In person. David didn't even let you have a mirror. Brutal. Huh. Just scan it, Jin, if you're that curious. Unless it's considered too forward, or whatever. Seems like that's everything critical on this side of the room. Which leaves the kitchen. You said there's camera footage of the dining room showing David and his guest. What about in here? Only camera in the kitchen is the one mounted on the call terminal. The console took a snap image of when the witness ran into the contact emergency service. May I see it? Not unless you can scrape the witness's face off the pic first. Don't tempt me. I will keep it a buck with you, chat. As much as I am enjoying this, we are literally almost 4 hours and 20 minutes in. I think it would be in our best interest to consider saving and leaving the investigation of the kitchen for next week. How do you feel about that? Either way, this is a lot, and I'm glad for it. So naturally, we're gonna have to keep up with this, because frankly speaking, it's very much more than I expected. Especially considering how kinda sober this is, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, it's less Phoenix Wright, but it's also not Danganronpa. It's somewhere straight in the middle, you know? And I think I have to appreciate that on some level. Moreover, I'm just over here just thinking to myself, we need to do more of stuff like this in general in the first place, so hopefully we see more of it. I'm just over here just unsure where else to go at the moment. You know what? I see Ruchi streaming Night Rain. I think it would be in our best interest to go bother her at the moment, because, you know, I haven't seen Tiger King in forever, but still. That being said, once again, I do thank you for joining me in regards to this. Hopefully we see more. And hopefully, if you're so interested in helping me figure out whether or not YouTube likes my content, maybe hit that pinned comment at the top, and maybe dropping a comment on what you think of this playthrough so far. But even still, we'll worry about that later, and you can consider hitting me up tomorrow, because I think we're going to do a little bit of a watch-along in the server, but we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, let's see here. My name has been Megiddo, Ichi, and I hope to see you all again very soon. Stay safe, drink water, understand that Dr. Asher did not off himself, and have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye.